Have you ever felt like your life moves through cycles of chaos and clarity, as if unseen forces were at work in your destiny? Why is it that just when everything begins to fall apart, a sudden rescue appears, unexpected, unexplainable, and perfectly timed? If so, you're not alone. You might be one of the chosen ones, individuals marked by divine light, guardians of truth in a world cloaked in shadows. But here's a revelation that might unsettle you. Even demons sometimes help the chosen ones, not out of kindness, not out of compassion, but because they know something few dare to admit: your light cannot be overcome. This is not a story of fantasy. It's a spiritual reality, one that unveils a deeper war, not merely between good and evil, but between divine destiny and desperate deception. This is the story of you, the chosen, and the eternal forces that orbit your soul. Let us walk this journey together, uncovering layer by layer the mystery, the power, and the purpose that define who you are. The mark of the chosen. From an early age, you may have sensed it, an invisible thread pulling you towards something greater, something beyond the surface of life. You felt different, not better, but deeply set apart. While others chased comfort, you craved meaning. While the world whispered conformity, your soul stirred with questions no one around you seemed to ask. That restlessness wasn't confusion, it was calling. The truth is, the chosen are marked not by perfection, but by purpose. Long before you knew your name, your destiny was written into the fabric of eternity. The challenges you faced, the betrayals, the loneliness, the inner battles, have not been punishments. They've been preparation. The fire wasn't sent to destroy you, but to refine you. And while this mark sets you apart in the eyes of heaven, it also draws attention in the spirit realm. Darkness takes notice of those who carry light. Demonic forces, though they cannot claim your soul, will circle your life, testing boundaries, looking for weakness, hoping to turn your path away from truth. But what they often forget is this: the mark you carry is not only a symbol of calling, but of covering. You were chosen, not just to survive, but to overcome. Not just to stand, but to lead. Your trials are not in vain. They are proof that heaven trusts you with influence. You are not unnoticed. You are not alone. And you are certainly not without power. The mark of the chosen is more than a burden. It is a badge of spiritual authority. When you embrace it fully, you begin to see clearly. Every hardship was a step toward becoming who you were always meant to be. You were never meant to fit in. You were marked to stand out and to stand strong. When darkness cannot destroy, it manipulates. Once the forces of darkness recognize that they cannot destroy you outright, they change their strategy. They stop using fear and begin using familiarity. Their attacks become quieter, subtler, less like a storm and more like a whisper. For the chosen, the greatest danger is not always confrontation. It is manipulation. You may not realize it, but the enemy often disguises himself as help. Not all that comforts you is from God. Sometimes, what looks like a blessing is a distraction in disguise, designed to shift your focus, steal your peace, and detour your calling. When destruction fails, deception takes its place. Demons know they cannot break your light, so they try to bend it through temptation, flattery, emotional dependency, or even people who seem good but carry hidden intentions. They appeal to your heart, not your fear. And if you're not spiritually awake, you may mistake a trap for a door. This is why discernment is so vital. You must learn to see not only with your eyes, but with your spirit. To ask not just, "Does this feel right?" but, "Is this aligned with my divine purpose?" The enemy thrives in emotional vulnerability. He waits for your lonely moments, your tired prayers, your moments of silence from heaven, and he speaks in half-truths dressed as comfort. But remember this: your calling is not fragile, and your spirit is not naive. You were given the wisdom to discern, the strength to resist, and the authority to reject anything that seeks to control what God has called you to become. When darkness cannot defeat the chosen, It will attempt to deceive them. But the light within you, when guarded with truth, cannot be fooled. The power of discernment, your greatest gift. Among all the gifts entrusted to the chosen, one stands above the rest. Discernment. It is more than intuition. It is the quiet voice in your spirit that sees what eyes cannot, that senses danger before it forms, that feels truth even when lies wear convincing masks. Discernment is not born from fear, but from wisdom. It's the gift that allows you to walk through a world full of illusions and still stay grounded in what is real, what is eternal. It helps you separate light from shadow, truth from almost truth, and guidance from manipulation. The enemy is clever. He knows that an outright attack often fails. So instead, he sends distractions cloaked in comfort, relationships that drain your energy, opportunities that flatter your ego but starve your soul, voices that sound helpful but lead you away from God's voice. These are not always obvious threats. That's why discernment is essential. To sharpen it, you must stay connected to the source, daily aligning your spirit with divine truth. Prayer, quietness, reflection, and scripture are not just rituals. They are spiritual tuning forks. They recalibrate your soul to hear clearly and respond rightly. With discernment, you will recognize when help isn't really help, when affection comes with manipulation, when a door is a trap rather than a calling. You'll begin to notice the subtle shift in spiritual atmospheres, the change in energy around certain people or places, and more importantly, you'll know what to do about it. This gift is your spiritual compass in a world designed to confuse. It is how the chosen remain unshaken. It is how you protect your purpose, your peace, and your power. You were never meant to follow every voice. You were called to recognize the right one. Divine immunity. Why you cannot be touched. Though the path of the chosen is filled with trials, there is a truth the darkness cannot deny. You are divinely protected. No matter how fierce the battle becomes, no matter how close evil draws, there is a shield around you, an invisible yet unshakable covering that cannot be pierced. This is your divine immunity. It doesn't mean you won't feel pain or face storms. It means the pain won't break you, and the storm won't sink you. You may bend, but you will not fall. Because the one who called you also surrounds you. His presence is your armor. His purpose your defense. Spiritual forces know this. That's why they don't try to attack you directly. They know it's futile. Instead, they try to trick you into stepping outside your covering. They tempt you to compromise, to lose faith, to doubt your identity. Because they cannot touch what is protected, they hope to convince you to walk away from the shield yourself. But when you remain anchored in truth, in prayer, in divine connection, you stand untouchable. Fear may knock, but it cannot stay. Despair may whisper, but it cannot take root. Your immunity is not just spiritual, it guards your mind from confusion, your heart from bitterness, and your soul from despair. This is not arrogance, it is assurance. You are not powerful because of who you are, but because of whose you are. You carry His mark, His promise, His authority. Evil will always test your boundaries. But you don't need to fear what watches from the shadows, because even in the valley, you are surrounded by light, and no shadow, no matter how dark, can overcome a soul shielded by the divine. Trials are not punishments, they are preparation. It's easy to wonder why your life seems marked by more storms than sunshine, why the weight feels heavier, the path lonelier, the battles longer than those around you. But here's the truth, the enemy hopes you never discover. Your trials are not punishments, they are preparation. To be chosen is to be called into a higher mission. And with that calling comes divine refinement. Like gold must pass through fire to be purified, your spirit must endure the heat of hardship to unlock its full strength. God is not punishing you, He's preparing you. Each trial, no matter how painful, carves out deeper faith. Each heartbreak strengthens your spirit's endurance. Each delay teaches you patience. Each betrayal sharpens your discernment. Nothing is wasted. Even your tears water the soil of your growth. The enemy wants you to believe your suffering is a sign of weakness, of abandonment. But in truth, it's a sign of God's investment in your future. He sees what's ahead, and He's equipping you to carry it. The greater your calling, the greater the preparation. The trials you face today are building the warrior you will need to be tomorrow. They are shaping your voice, your purpose, your authority. They are separating you from what is shallow and anchoring you in what is eternal. So don't curse the storm. Let it strengthen your roots. Don't fear the fire. Let it refine your flame. You were never meant to be fragile. You were meant to be forged. What you endure now is training for what you are destined to lead. You're not being broken. You're being built. People as vessels. Recognizing hidden influences. Not every battle comes from the outside. Sometimes the greatest spiritual threats come through those closest to you. Friends, loved ones, even family, unaware they're being used by forces they cannot see. Darkness often operates through influence, not possession. It whispers into wounded hearts, feeds on insecurity, and takes advantage of those unaware of spiritual dynamics. These people aren't always evil. They're simply open. And through them, spiritual attacks can enter quietly, masked as concern, advice, or affection. The chosen must walk in love, but also in wisdom. Your light draws not only the hungry, but also the hidden. Those under influence may seem helpful, supportive, even charming. But over time, they drain your energy, stir conflict, or subtly redirect your focus away from your divine calling. That's why discernment isn't just about seeing through strangers. It's about recognizing when familiar voices are no longer aligned with your path. Not to condemn, but to protect your mission. Set boundaries, guard your peace, speak with grace, but walk with clarity. If a relationship repeatedly pulls you into confusion, fear, or distraction, pause and ask, what spirit is driving this? Spiritual warfare is not always loud. Sometimes it sounds like a friendly conversation, feels like harmless advice, or looks like love wrapped in manipulation. But the fruit always reveals the root. You are called to carry light, and that means you must protect it. Stay grounded, stay discerning, stay faithful, and when necessary, love from a distance. Because not everyone around you is meant to walk with you. Some are there only to test the strength of the light within you. The subtle poison of demonic help. Not all traps look dangerous. Some arrive wrapped in comfort, timed perfectly with your pain, and whispered into your need. This is the most deceptive form of spiritual attack, when help comes from the wrong source. The enemy knows he cannot break the chosen through force, so he offers assistance instead. But this help is never free. It carries hidden motives and invisible chains. It may look like financial rescue, emotional support, or an open door that seems too perfect. But behind it lies a subtle agenda to gain access to your heart and influence your path. At first, it feels like relief, a blessing, an answered prayer. But over time, it begins to shift your spirit. You grow dependent. Your clarity fades. And soon, the very help you accepted starts pulling you away from God, from truth, and from your divine authority. This is the subtle poison of demonic help. It doesn't kill quickly. It numbs slowly. That's why the chosen must ask, not only does this feel good, but where is this leading me? True help from God never compromises your integrity, never silences your spirit, and never demands you to abandon your convictions. Divine help brings peace without control, clarity without confusion. But help from the enemy always costs something sacred. So pause, pray, discern. Not every open hand is safe. Not every opportunity is holy. When in doubt, return to your source. The spirit within you knows the truth, even when appearances lie. Sometimes the greatest act of spiritual strength is not saying yes. It's having the wisdom to say no. Your light cannot be extinguished. No matter how fierce the darkness becomes, one truth remains unshaken. Your light cannot be extinguished. As a chosen one, you carry within you a light that was placed there by the divine, not earned, not borrowed, but gifted with eternal purpose. That light is your identity. It is your calling, your protection, and your power. The forces of darkness know this. That's why they fear you, not because of your strength alone, but because of what your presence represents. You are a constant reminder that good still exists, that truth still speaks, and that light still prevails. Even when the world around you trembles, your light stands firm. But that light must be guarded, not because it's weak, but because it's sacred. The enemy won't try to blow it out with force. He'll try to smother it with weariness, doubt, and distraction. He'll use disappointment to dim your hope and confusion to cloud your vision. But none of these things have power unless you give it to them. Your light wasn't designed to glow quietly in ease. It was made to blaze boldly in the midst of struggle. The darker the surroundings, the brighter your spirit becomes. You are not a victim of the storm. You are its contrast, its disruption, its answer. And when you walk in full awareness of who you are, no force, no lie, no fear, no failure can silence what burns inside you. And no matter what comes against you, remember this: you carry a flame the darkness cannot touch. Through every battle, every doubt, and every spiritual storm, remember this powerful truth: you were never meant to walk alone. The path of the chosen may be steep, and the weight may feel heavy, but you are guided, protected, and deeply known by the one who called you. You were chosen not just to carry the light, but to become it. And even when the road feels lonely, your journey is part of something far greater than yourself. Every trial you've faced has shaped you. Every moment of silence has drawn you closer to divine wisdom. And every time you rise again, you show the world that darkness never gets the final word. So keep walking. Keep shining. Keep listening to the voice within that calls you higher. Thank you for being here. Your presence means more than you know. If this message spoke to your heart, we invite you to subscribe to our channel. Join this growing community of believers, seekers, and spiritual warriors. Together, we learn, grow, and walk in the light. Don't forget to like, share, and turn on notifications so you won't miss future messages made just for you. You were chosen. You are protected. And you are never, ever alone. There are whispers in the spirit realm that not everyone can hear. A certain stillness that settles over a soul marked for something greater, set apart by the divine hand of God. These are not ordinary people. They carry something the world cannot comprehend: the invisible seal of being chosen. Have you noticed how, no matter how hard you try, you never quite fit in? That somehow there's more to your life than the mundane chase of survival? That longing, that ache, is not confusion. It may be your calling. The chosen aren't always aware that they're chosen, and that unawareness causes them to wrestle with identity, rejection, and loneliness until they recognize the 7 unmistakable marks of their divine calling. So today, we journey deep into the mystery of what it truly means to be one of God's chosen. Prepare yourself, because by the end of this message, you may realize that you were never ordinary. You were marked for more. Mark 1. You disturb darkness without trying. Have you walked into a room and felt the tension shift? People glance at you differently. Conversations grow awkward. Certain individuals avoid eye contact, or worse, they slowly drift away from your life without explanation, and you wonder, did I do something wrong? But what if the answer is far more profound? When you are chosen by God, your presence alone carries weight. Without even saying a word, you disturb what is hidden. Not because you're confrontational, but because the light within you exposes the darkness around you. It's not visible to the eye, but it's felt in the spirit. People who harbor jealousy, manipulation, deceit, or spiritual compromise often find it uncomfortable to be near someone who walks in truth, integrity, and purity. They can't explain it, but they can feel it. Jesus experienced this constantly. He healed, loved, forgave, and yet the Pharisees plotted against him. Why? Because his very presence threatened their false righteousness. In John 8:44, he confronts them saying, "You belong to your father, the devil." That wasn't just bold, it was the truth that pierced their darkness. Likewise, those marked by God today carry a presence that confronts hypocrisy without effort. Toxic people may smear your name, twist your words, or exit your life altogether, not because you did wrong, but because you carry something they cannot understand or control. But here's the truth. Rejection is often God's redirection. The distance others create might be His way of protecting your purpose. So don't dim your light to make others comfortable. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out. And if people can't handle your light, they were never meant to walk in your destiny. Let the darkness flee. Keep shining anyway. Mark 2. You discern before others understand. There's a quiet knowing in your spirit, one that doesn't always make sense to others. You meet someone and beneath their smile, you detect something deeper. You feel unease before trouble arises. You see the truth before it's revealed. This isn't just intuition. It's not paranoia. It's discernment, one of the clearest signs of being chosen. While others are distracted by appearances, the chosen ones are tuned to the unseen. It's as if your spirit can hear whispers others miss, feel danger others ignore, and see motives others don't notice. You've likely tried to warn people before about decisions, relationships, or situations, only to be misunderstood, dismissed, or even ridiculed. But when the truth finally surfaces, you're left thinking, "I knew it all along." This spiritual sensitivity is not a coincidence. It's a gift and a responsibility. Just like Joseph, who dreamed of what was to come and was hated for it. His brothers mocked him, calling him a dreamer, not knowing that God had given him foresight into destiny. Those who carry discernment often carry rejection, because seeing what others can't makes them uncomfortable. But don't silence your insight to fit in. Discernment is a compass in a world full of counterfeit light. It protects, guides, and prepares. And though you may not always have the words to explain what you feel, trust that your spirit is sensing what heaven is revealing. You were never meant to walk blind. You were meant to move with clarity. So when you feel it, lean in. Don't second guess it. What you perceive may be the very warning or wisdom that saves someone else. You don't just see differently. You see deeper because you were chosen to. Mark 3. You attract conflict without seeking it. You never asked for the fight. You never looked for drama. And yet, somehow, conflict seems to find you, even when your intentions are pure, even when your actions are harmless. People misinterpret your words, twist your silence, and question your motives. It feels unfair, confusing, and at times deeply painful. But here's the truth. Your life provokes what others are trying to ignore. Those who are chosen carry not just light, but truth, and truth unsettles. Your presence, even in silence, confronts the hidden darkness in others. The very values you live by, honesty, integrity, righteousness, stand in stark contrast to a world built on compromise. And for some, that contrast is unbearable. Look at Daniel. He wasn't looking for trouble. He was simply faithful, consistent, and honorable. Yet his integrity infuriated those who thrived on corruption, and they sought to destroy him. The problem was never Daniel, it was the conviction his life carried. And so it is with you. Your refusal to gossip, cheat, or conform becomes a silent accusation to those who do, and rather than confront their own flaws, they turn on you. But take heart. This is not a sign of weakness. It is evidence of your calling. God often allows conflict to refine, not define you. Let your character speak. Let your faith remain unmoved. Just as Daniel emerged from the lion's den untouched, so too will God vindicate you in time. You are not being attacked because you're in the wrong. You're being attacked because you're standing for what's right. Keep standing. Keep shining. And remember, chosen vessels always draw resistance because they carry something holy the world cannot ignore. Mark 4. You've never fully fit in. You've walked through life wearing a quiet question on your heart. Why do I always feel so different? It's not that you lack love for people, or that you don't long for connection, but no matter how hard you try, there's always a sense that you're standing just outside the circle. The jokes don't land the same, the conversations feel shallow, the rhythms of the world simply don't match the beat of your soul. This isn't rejection, it's a revelation. When God chooses someone, he often marks them with a holy restlessness. Earth is not your final home. The culture of this world was never meant to feel comfortable to a soul designed for eternity. They admitted that they were foreigners and strangers on earth. Hebrews 11:13. Think of Moses, raised in the palace of Egypt, surrounded by opulence and influence, yet something in him always felt off. Though he wore the garments of royalty, his spirit was dressed for a higher calling. He walked away from everything comfortable because he knew his identity could not coexist with compromise. If you've always felt like you were too much or not enough for the spaces around you, take heart. It's a sign you were never called to blend in. You were called to break molds, not fit into them. The discomfort isn't punishment, it's preparation. You're not lost, you're being set apart. The ache you feel is heaven's reminder. You were made for more. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to lead, to illuminate, and to walk a road only the chosen dare to follow. Mark 5. Children and animals respond to you differently. There's something about you that words can't quite explain, yet the purest among us seem to recognize it instantly. Children who barely speak will stare at you with wonder, smile without prompting, or reach out to you with open arms. Animals that are usually guarded will sit near you, approach you without fear, or simply rest in your presence. You may have brushed it off as coincidence, but in reality, they're responding to what the world often misses: the presence of God within you. Those who are chosen carry a different atmosphere, a peace, a stillness, a spiritual clarity that radiates far beyond human language. And while many adults are too clouded by pride, pain, or distraction to recognize it, children and animals still operate with unfiltered instinct. Their spirits are sensitive, their discernment is pure, and when they encounter someone who carries light, they gravitate toward it. Let the little children come to me, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these. Matthew 19:14. Jesus himself was surrounded by children who were drawn to him, not because of his position, but because of his presence. In the same way, what draws others to you isn't your appearance, your words, or your status. It's what rests on your spirit. A divine gentleness, a heavenly peace. Even in the Old Testament, Balaam's donkey perceived what the prophet could not: the presence of an angel on the road. That moment reminds us that God can reveal spiritual truths through the most unlikely vessels. So if children seek your arms and animals find rest near your feet, consider it holy confirmation. You carry something sacred, a fragrance of heaven, that even the innocent can recognize. Let that presence speak louder than your voice ever could. Mark 6. God speaks to you through dreams and signs. There are moments when life feels ordinary, until something happens that you just can't explain. A dream that lingers with haunting clarity. A conversation that feels divinely timed. A number that keeps repeating. A verse that appears at the exact moment your heart cries out for direction. These are not coincidences. They are whispers from heaven. When you're chosen, God doesn't just walk beside you, he communicates with you. Sometimes in bold ways, other times in the softest echoes, but always in truth, always with purpose. In the last days I will pour out my spirit. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams. Acts 2:17. God has always spoken through dreams. He warned Joseph in the night. He guided the Magi with a vision. He gave Daniel revelations that shape nations. And today, he still speaks to those willing to listen. Not all signs come with thunder. Sometimes it's a closed door you didn't expect, a delay that saved you, a stranger's words that echo your secret prayer. The chosen are not guided by logic alone. They're led by the Spirit. They notice what others overlook. And when something stirs their soul, they pause and ask, "Lord, is this you?" The world may dismiss it as chance, but you know better. Because deep down, your spirit recognizes the fingerprint of God. He's never stopped speaking. The question is, are you paying attention? So lean in, trust the nudge, write down the dream, pray over the sign. Because when God speaks, it's never random. It's always to reveal, prepare, protect, or call you higher. And when you learn to listen, you'll never walk blindly again. Mark 7. Your prayers move heaven. There's a difference between speaking words into the air and releasing prayers that shake the heavens. When you pray, it's not a ritual. It's not repetition. It's a divine transaction between earth and eternity. And if you've ever prayed and watched things shift, doors open, chains break, peace flood in where chaos once ruled, then know this: your voice carries weight in the spiritual realm. Some people pray and hope, but the chosen pray and expect. They don't beg, they believe. Their words aren't empty, they are infused with authority, because their hearts are aligned with the heart of God. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. James 5:16. Look at Scripture. Elijah prayed, and the skies closed for 3 years. He prayed again, and rain returned. Paul and Silas sang in a prison cell, and the very foundation shook. Why? Because heaven responds to faith. And those who are chosen don't just believe in God, they walk in communion with Him. Your prayers have likely gone beyond yourself. You've interceded for others. You've whispered desperate cries in the dark, and though you didn't always see it instantly, something always moved. Because God listens closely when His chosen ones speak. But here's what's even more powerful. You don't need loud declarations to be heard. Sometimes the softest "Jesus help me" spoken through tears carries more weight than 1,000 polished phrases. It's not the eloquence, it's the surrender, it's the faith. If your prayers have moved mountains, it's because you're not just talking to God, you're walking with Him. Keep praying, keep believing. Because when the chosen pray, heaven leans in and earth is never the same. The final seal, God's invisible mark. There is a mark more powerful than any earthly title, a seal that cannot be seen with human eyes but is unmistakable in the spirit. It's not written in ink, nor stamped in stone, but it's etched into the very soul of the chosen. It is the invisible seal of God. Do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, with whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. Ephesians 4:30. This seal is not given to the loudest voice, the most religious performance, or those who merely wear the name Christian. It is placed upon those who have surrendered fully, those who walk not in appearance, but in obedience. It is God's own signature, marking you as His. Throughout history, God has always marked His people. In the Old Testament, Israel was set apart through covenant. In the New, believers were sealed by the Holy Spirit. And in the final days, Revelation tells us that only those sealed by God will stand, while the rest follow the world's destruction. This seal isn't about perfection, it's about possession. It says, "This one belongs to me." The trials you've faced, the rejection you've endured, the fire you've walked through, they were not signs of abandonment, but of refinement. You are not common. You are not random. You are claimed. And while others chase after applause, approval, and possessions, you carry something far greater, the quiet authority of one who is known in heaven. So don't be discouraged by what you lack in the eyes of the world. You have something it can never give, the seal of the living God. And no enemy, no storm, no failure can erase what He has written over your life. You are marked. You are chosen. You are His. If you've seen yourself in even one of these marks, or maybe in all 7, then it's time to stop doubting who you are. You are marked by heaven. This is your moment, your invitation to walk boldly into purpose. You've been sealed for something greater, and now it's time to answer the call. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching this message. If it spoke to your spirit, if it stirred something deep within you, don't let it stop here. Hit the subscribe button and join a growing community of believers who, like you, are hungry for truth, destined for purpose, and ready to live as the chosen. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are chosen, and your journey is just beginning. What if I told you that everything is about to change? Not through coincidence or luck, but through divine design. That this very moment you're experiencing right now isn't random, it's sacred. You didn't arrive here by accident. You were summoned, handpicked by heaven. And if your spirit is awake enough to hear these words, then you already sense it. The shift, the stirring, the supernatural invitation pulling at the edge of your soul. This is not just another message. This is a divine revelation. It's the quiet before the breakthrough, the calm before the rising, the final call before everything in your life begins to align with the purpose you were born to fulfill. You are not like the rest. You've been marked, set apart, chosen. Even now, in realms beyond what the eye can see, something extraordinary is unfolding. The spiritual realm is shifting, and heaven is aligning people, places, and moments for your emergence. Soon, what's been hidden will be seen, and not just seen, but broadcast to the world, for all to witness. But understand this: only those with spiritual eyes will truly see. Only those attuned to heaven will grasp the weight of what's coming. The world may watch, but you will know. Because this isn't just change, it's destiny, and it begins now. There comes a sacred moment in every life when the noise fades, the chaos stills, and a deeper voice begins to speak, not to the ears, but to the soul. It doesn't shout, it doesn't demand. It simply whispers, "This is your time." And if you're here, watching this now, understand, this is not a coincidence. This is a divine encounter. God has led you here because something inside you is beginning to awaken. You may not feel ready. You may still carry the bruises of your battles, the ache of waiting, the questions you never dared to speak aloud. But your brokenness does not disqualify you. It identifies you. The fire you've walked through wasn't to consume you, it was to forge you. You've been shaped in the silence, refined in the shadows, prepared for a purpose far greater than what you've imagined. This is the shift. Not just in your circumstances, but in your spirit. Heaven is moving. Destiny is aligning. The divine invitation has been extended, and it has your name on it. This isn't just about your breakthrough. It's about becoming a beacon for those still lost in the dark. So don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't look for outside validation. The call is here. The time is now. You are chosen, not someday, but today. And the world is waiting for your light to rise. This moment you're stepping into is not just personal. It's part of a divine movement that's sweeping across the earth. While your heart is awakening, so is the world. There's a shaking happening in the spirit, an invisible trembling of old systems crumbling and new voices rising. You've felt it. You've seen glimpses of it in world events, in leadership shifts, in the hunger for truth growing in hearts everywhere. This is more than just your breakthrough. It's the beginning of a global awakening. God is not only moving in your life, He is moving through nations, unlocking hidden destinies and calling His chosen ones into alignment. What's happening around you is not chaos, it's divine rearrangement. Heaven is positioning people, reshaping power structures, and preparing a generation to lead with courage and clarity. You are not being called to watch from the sidelines. You are being called to rise and take your place in this great unfolding. The world may not understand it, but your spirit knows. This is sacred. This is history in the making, and you have a role to play. It's God-sized, and it has already begun. For generations, ancient truths have been hidden, guarded, whispered, passed down through time, waiting for the right moment and the right hearts to receive them. That moment is now, and that heart is yours. Prophecies once locked away in mystery are beginning to surface, not as distant myths, but as divine confirmations echoing in your spirit. You may feel a strange familiarity with things you've never been taught, an inner knowing that resonates deeper than reason. That is the unveiling. The secrets of heaven are being revealed, not to confuse, but to awaken. These revelations are not meant for the masses, but for the chosen, those who can discern the difference between noise and truth. And you, chosen one, have been entrusted with eyes to see and ears to hear. The more you lean into God's presence, the more clearly these hidden truths will come alive in you. They are not just stories of the past. They are blueprints for your future. With every prophecy revealed, your path becomes clearer, your purpose sharper. This is not imagination. It's divine alignment. And it is your invitation to step into the sacred knowledge heaven has preserved just for you. The veil is lifting. Now it's your turn to see. Look closely, chosen one. The signs are everywhere. Beneath the chaos, beyond the noise, something sacred is stirring. The world may call it confusion, disorder, even disaster. But in the spirit, it is a shift, a holy disruption, a divine rearranging. God is moving, not only in the quiet places of your soul, but in the visible structures of the world. Sudden changes in leadership, unexpected global events, alliances that make no sense to the natural mind. These are not random. And while many will dismiss them as coincidence, you know better. You feel it in your spirit, a deep urgency, a sacred pull to pay attention. These moments are invitations from God, calling you to discern with spiritual eyes what the natural world cannot comprehend. They're not just signs for today. They're confirmations that you are living in a prophetic hour. So don't fear the storm. Read it. Don't resist the shaking. Recognize it. Heaven is speaking through it all, and you are being trained to interpret the language of divine movement. Stay awake, stay alert, and stay aligned. Because the shift is not coming. It is already here, and only the chosen will understand its true meaning. God was cultivating something in you that the world wasn't ready for, until now. This is not about fame or spotlight. It's about assignment. You are being positioned as a voice, a guide, a light for a generation searching for direction. You carry something sacred, something the world desperately needs. And though your journey has been quiet, the next chapter will be loud with purpose. Your voice will carry weight. Your presence will carry peace. Your obedience will unlock doors for others. This is the rise of the heralds, those called not to echo the world, but to declare the heartbeat of heaven. You don't need a platform. Your presence is the message. You don't need permission. God has already appointed you. Step forward with courage, knowing that every hidden moment was part of your preparation. The time of silence is over. Now the world will see what heaven always knew. You were chosen to lead, and your time has come. To be chosen is both an honor and a responsibility, a calling wrapped in mystery, marked by both glory and grit. Often it feels lonely. You've likely questioned, why me? Why the pain, the silence, the stretching? But here's the truth. The burden you've carried is proof of the beauty you're becoming. God doesn't call the strongest. He strengthens the called. The weight you've felt is not punishment, it's preparation. Being chosen means you've been entrusted with something sacred, something not everyone can carry. It's why you feel things others don't, why your spirit aches deeper and your vision reaches further. You've been carved by fire, shaped in secret, and refined for impact. And yes, it's heavy at times. But it's also holy, because in your burden lies your authority, and in your breaking, your anointing was born. This isn't just about endurance, it's about transformation. You are not defined by what you've suffered, but by what you've survived with your faith intact. The weight you carry is heaven's evidence that you're trusted for more. And though few may see it now, the time is coming when the beauty of your calling will shine beyond the burden that built it. There's a shift happening, not just in you, but in the spirit realm across the entire earth. It's more than revival. It's a divine realignment. The atmosphere is changing. Hearts are awakening. People who once chased empty things are now hungering for truth. From remote villages to crowded cities, from whispered prayers to worldwide gatherings, a spiritual wave is rising, and it cannot be stopped. This isn't the work of men, it's the movement of God. New spiritual rhythms are being birthed, ancient truths are being reclaimed, and unity is beginning to replace division. The chosen ones are not just waking up, they're taking their place, becoming vessels of light in a world desperate for clarity. You are part of this shift, not a spectator, but a catalyst. As you align with God's voice, your life becomes a conduit of awakening to others. Your presence becomes prophetic. Your obedience becomes a spark. Across continents and cultures, the Spirit is stirring hearts and the cry is the same. There must be more. The world is shifting. Heaven is near. And the spiritual awakening sweeping the earth is not on its way. It's already here. And you are right in the center of it. The path you've been searching for doesn't lie in the opinions of others, nor in the noise of the world. It won't be found in a step-by-step plan, a predictable formula, or even the validation of those around you. The truth is, the map is already within you. Planted deep in your spirit by the hand of God, your direction has been written in sacred ink long before you ever took your first breath. Every detour, every delay, every closed door has not been a misstep. It's been part of the journey designed specifically for your growth, for your alignment, for your awakening. God does not lead the chosen with loud signs. He leads with whispers, with divine instincts, with sudden clarity that can't be explained, only felt. That gentle stirring in your heart? That is the compass. That quiet peace when everything around you says panic? That is the voice of the guide. You don't need to see the whole picture to move. You only need to trust the one who does. Don't compare your pace or your path to anyone else's. What God is doing in you is unique, intentional, and holy. Others may not understand it. That's okay. It wasn't revealed to them. It was revealed to you. As you walk in faith, the map will unfold step by step. And what once felt like uncertainty will begin to look like divine strategy. You were never lost. You were always being led. You don't need to chase direction or fear the unknown. Everything you need to fulfill your purpose is already inside of you, planted by heaven, watered by time, and now ready to grow. The map is within you. Trust it. Follow it. Live it. This is your moment. Not someday. Not when everything feels perfect. Now the time for delay, hesitation, and second-guessing is over. Heaven has sounded the alarm. This is your divine call to action. You were never meant to sit in the shadows, waiting for a sign to feel worthy enough, ready enough, or qualified enough. The truth is, if you've heard the call in your spirit, then you're already equipped to respond. God doesn't wait for perfection. He looks for willingness. And the world doesn't need more silent warriors. It needs you, bold, awakened, and obedient to the divine assignment on your life. The window of destiny is open now, and you are being summoned to walk through it with faith, not fear. The path may be uncertain. You may feel the trembling of your humanity, but greater still is the power of the Spirit rising within you. The world may not recognize the weight of this moment, but your soul does. You were created for such a time as this. No more shrinking. No more waiting for confirmation when heaven has already spoken. You are being called to build, to speak, to lead, to ignite. Don't wait for the world to validate what God has already confirmed. The stage is set. The shift is here. This is your time. So rise, move, act. Heaven is watching, and the earth is waiting. Timing. It's the thread that quietly weaves purpose into every moment of your life. Not always seen, not always understood, but always intentional. You may have wondered why things took so long, why the doors stayed closed, why the dreams felt delayed, why you were hidden when you longed to be seen. But heaven has never been late. What felt like a pause was actually preparation, and what seemed like silence was the sound of divine timing unfolding. God's timeline does not operate on the urgency of the world. His ways are layered in wisdom, beauty, and eternal vision. You haven't missed your moment. You've been preserved for it. Every tear, every detour, every unanswered question was part of a divine countdown leading you here. And now the season has shifted. The waiting is turning into walking. The wilderness is becoming a way. When you align with divine timing, you begin to see the masterpiece taking shape, one thread at a time. Suddenly, what once felt random begins to make sense. The delays reveal their purpose. The disappointments transform into direction. The divine reveals its rhythm. So trust this timing. Don't rush it. Don't resent it. Rest in it. Because God's timing is never just about when. It's about who you've become in the waiting. And now, you are ready. This isn't just a right time. It's your time. The moment heaven has been preparing you for is here. You've felt it in your soul. The stirring, the shifting, the sense that something bigger is unfolding. And now you know. It wasn't your imagination. It was your invitation. You are not here by chance. You have been called, refined, and prepared for this very moment. The rise of the chosen is no longer a prophecy on the horizon. It's happening now. And you are part of it. This is the hour to stand tall in who God created you to be. To walk in the authority of your assignment. To lead not with pride, but with purpose. The world is about to see the unveiling of what heaven has long known. You were made for such a time as this. Thank you for taking the time to walk through this message. If it resonated with you, if it stirred something deep within your spirit, then this space, this community, is for you. We're building more than content here. We're building a movement of light, of purpose, of chosen ones awakening to their divine call. If you haven't already, we invite you to subscribe to this channel. Join us on this journey of revelation, transformation, and rising into all God has destined you to become. Your time is now. Your voice matters. Welcome to the rise of the chosen. Beloved, listen with your heart, as this message is not just for you. It is about you. You are not like the others. You were never meant to blend into the crowd or follow the path others set for you. You are something different, something magnificent. You are an earth angel, a radiant beacon of divine light, sent into this world to walk among shadows and transform them with your mere presence. In every moment of your life, you have stood as a testament to the fact that you carry within you a power that others cannot fathom. But there is something most profound you must understand, something that is about to unfold before your very eyes. A force so dark, so twisted in nature, has fallen in love with you. Not because you are like them, but because you represent everything they can never be. You, Earth Angel, embody the unshakable essence of truth, light, and love. You stand tall, unyielding, when others crumble. Your presence alone unnerves the very foundation of darkness. And now this force, this master of deception, fear, and chaos, finds itself ensnared in its own traps, unable to break free. It has tried to manipulate, to deceive, to control, and yet you remain untouched, a shining light, standing firm in your truth. But what happens next? How do you respond to such a profound confrontation? You, chosen one, have been placed here for a reason, and your journey holds the key to a deeper understanding of power, love, and transformation. The chosen one stands as an unshakable force, a beacon of light in a world shrouded by darkness. From the moment you were born, you were never meant to follow the crowd, to fit into the molds of others. You were destined for something far greater, to walk a path that only the boldest souls dare to tread. Your light is undeniable, and it cannot be dimmed by the shadows that seek to consume it. While others cower in fear, you stand firm, unyielding and fearless, radiating a strength that unsettles even the deepest forces of darkness. The devil, who has spent centuries weaving deception, manipulation, and chaos, has encountered many who have fallen before its tricks. Great kings, wise philosophers, and even the righteous have succumbed to its snares. Yet when it faced you, it found something entirely different. The traps it set, the temptations it offered, and the fears it instilled all failed to break you. In fact, they only revealed your true power. You, the chosen one, do not engage in the games of the devil. You do not play by its rules, nor do you bend to its will. While others are swayed by illusion, you see through the falsehoods, recognizing them for what they truly are, mere distractions meant to steal your peace and light. The devil, used to manipulating the minds of the mighty, finds itself powerless in your presence. It cannot use the same tactics on you that it has used for centuries to bring empires to their knees. You are not broken by its lies. You do not fall for its deceptions. Instead, you remain steadfast in your truth, unwavering in your faith, and this is what terrifies the devil. For the first time, it faces something it cannot control, a force of nature that stands beyond its reach. Your power does not lie in physical strength or in the ability to defeat the devil through violence. No, your power lies in your unwavering authenticity. The light you carry is not of this world, and it cannot be extinguished by the darkness that surrounds it. You stand firm, not because you are defiant, but because you are grounded in your truth. The devil has never encountered anyone like you before, someone whose presence alone shatters its illusions and exposes its weaknesses. It is in your stillness, in your ability to remain true to yourself, that the devil is forced to confront the very lies it has lived by. You do not need to fight. You do not need to engage in a battle of wills. You simply are, and that is enough. Your light has a profound effect on the world around you. It disrupts the devil's carefully constructed web, exposing the vulnerabilities it has spent lifetimes hiding. The devil thought it could break you, but in reality, it has become ensnared by its own deception. And now, it is you who holds the power. The more you stand in your truth, the more the darkness around you begins to dissolve, and the devil finds itself unraveling. You are the embodiment of divine strength, and this is what makes you unstoppable. The transformation begins when the devil, accustomed to controlling and manipulating, faces something it has never encountered before: your unwavering light and truth. For centuries, the devil has weaved a tapestry of deception, carefully crafting illusions to keep the world in darkness. It has watched kingdoms fall, witnessed the wise crumble under pressure, and seen the righteous stray from their paths, all due to its clever manipulations. The devil thrives on chaos and fear, using these as tools to dominate and subjugate, never expecting to encounter someone who sees through its carefully constructed facade. But when it comes to you, the chosen one, everything changes. You do not bend to the devil's will, nor do you fall into the traps set by its false promises. While the devil has spent lifetimes perfecting the art of temptation, it is powerless against your clarity and truth. The illusions it has long used to control others crumble in your presence, and for the first time, it finds itself exposed. No longer able to hide behind deceit, the devil is forced to confront the reality it has spent so long avoiding. The light you carry is not just a force that guides you. It is a force that shines on the darkness around you, unraveling everything the devil once believed to be true. As the devil stands before you, it experiences something it has never known: vulnerability. It has always been the predator, the one in control, but now it is ensnared by its own web of lies. Your unwavering presence has disrupted its power, revealing the cracks in its carefully built armor. What was once a master of manipulation is now forced to question itself. The devil, for the first time, sees that it cannot manipulate you. It cannot twist your truth. Your light exposes its deepest fears, its darkest wounds, And it is in this moment that the devil begins to unravel. The power it thought it had is revealed to be an illusion, and it stands before you, no longer the force it once was. This unraveling is not immediate, nor is it easy. The devil has existed for eons, thriving in its deception, and now it must confront the very things it has long denied. But even in the face of its own unraveling, the devil finds itself strangely drawn to you. It cannot escape the truth you radiate. It begins to realize that its power was never as absolute as it believed. Your light is not something that can be extinguished. It simply reveals what was hidden. It exposes the cracks in the devil's foundation and forces it to see what it has long avoided, the truth of its own emptiness. In this moment of confrontation, the devil stands at a crossroads. It is faced with a choice: continue down the path of destruction, or embrace the painful yet liberating journey of transformation. The light you shine is not just a force that exposes its weakness. It is a force that offers the devil an opportunity for change. It can no longer rely on manipulation to get what it wants. Instead, it must decide whether to continue in its ways or step into the light of truth that you have shown. The devil's unraveling is not the conclusion of the story, but rather a pivotal moment, a moment of opportunity for transformation, if it is willing to embrace it. The revelation unfolds when the devil, the master of deception, is confronted with a force it has never been able to control: your unwavering presence. For centuries, the devil has thrived on creating illusions, bending reality to its will, and making darkness appear as light. It has whispered into the ears of kings, manipulated the hearts of rulers, and twisted the minds of the righteous. The devil has long been a puppet master, pulling strings from the shadows, convincing the world that its version of truth is the only truth. But when it faces you, all of that begins to shatter. You are not swayed by the devil's whispers, nor are you drawn into the webs it weaves. Your clarity exposes every illusion for what it is: empty, hollow, and false. The devil, used to being the one who creates deception, is now the one whose lies are exposed. The illusions that once kept the world in darkness crumble in your light. The masks the devil wears, designed to manipulate and control, no longer hide its true nature. You see through the facade, recognizing the darkness for what it truly is: a hollow attempt to overshadow the light that resides in you. This breaking of illusions is not just about exposing lies, it is about revealing the truth that has always been hidden behind layers of deception. The devil thrives on the belief that it controls the world, that it can manipulate anyone and everyone to do its bidding. But in your presence, it can no longer hide behind its illusions. The truth you carry is too powerful for its deceitful tactics to succeed. And in that truth, the devil is forced to face the reality it has long avoided. It is not the ultimate force in the universe. The revelation is a profound moment of clarity, not just for you, but for the devil as well. The darkness it has cultivated is now exposed to the light, and for the first time, it sees the full extent of its own emptiness. All the power it once believed it had, all the fear it instilled in others, is revealed to be nothing more than an illusion. The devil has built an empire on fear, on control, and on manipulation. But in your unwavering truth, it sees that none of it is real. It is a house of cards, ready to collapse. This moment is a turning point. The devil, no longer able to hide behind its illusions, stands exposed and vulnerable. It realizes that its greatest weapon, deception, no longer holds power over you. Your light shines through every shadow, revealing the truth that has been buried for so long. And this truth is not just about exposing the devil's lies. It is about awakening the world to a higher understanding. You have shattered the illusion, not with force or violence, but with the clarity of your presence. And in doing so, you have revealed that the devil's power was never real to begin with. The revelation is more than a simple unveiling of the devil's deception. It is the beginning of a transformation. Once the illusions are broken, the devil is faced with a choice: to continue down the path of destruction, or to embrace the painful but necessary journey of self-awareness and change. The truth you have revealed offers the devil a chance to heal, to transform, and to choose a new path. Whether it chooses this path or not is yet to be seen, but the illusion has been broken, and with it, the devil's control. The power of truth, once unleashed, cannot be contained, and it is in this moment that everything changes. The devil now finds itself at a crucial crossroads, faced with a choice that it has never had to make before. For eons, it has been the one in control, the master of manipulation, the force that twists the truth and bends reality to its will. It has thrived in darkness, using fear, temptation, and deceit as tools to control and dominate. But now, in the presence of your unyielding light, the devil is confronted with something it has never fully understood: the power of truth. For the first time, its illusions no longer work. The carefully woven web of lies that it has spent centuries building has begun to unravel. The shadows that once shielded its power are no longer impenetrable. And in this moment, the devil is left with a question. Will it continue down the path of destruction, or will it step into the light and embrace the possibility of transformation? This moment of choice is not just a simple decision. It is a profound reckoning. The devil has always believed that control was the ultimate power, that manipulation and fear were the keys to shaping the world around it. But now, standing before the undeniable truth that you represent, the devil must question everything it once held to be true. The power of darkness, which has sustained it for so long, is now revealed to be hollow in the face of light. The devil's tactics, its manipulation and control, have lost their grip. The lies it has spread no longer resonate, and it stands exposed, vulnerable in a way it has never known. The question remains: will the devil allow this moment of reckoning to be its undoing, or will it seize this opportunity for change? For the first time, it has the chance to evolve, to step away from its patterns of destruction and manipulation, and embrace something greater: the potential for transformation. But transformation is not easy. It requires the devil to confront its own darkness, to face the very fears and weaknesses it has long hidden from the world, and perhaps even from itself. The road to change is painful and fraught with uncertainty, but it is the only path that leads to true freedom. The choice is now in the devil's hands. It can continue down the path of chaos, destruction, and manipulation, or it can choose to let go of its old ways and open itself up to the possibility of something new. It can choose to remain entrenched in the darkness, or it can embrace the light and step into a future of healing and growth. This choice is not just about the devil's fate. It is about the fate of everything it has touched. The decision it makes will determine not only its own transformation, but the ripple effects it will have on the world around it. What will the devil choose? Will it remain in the shadows, clinging to its illusions? Or will it rise to the challenge of change and embrace the light? The decision is pivotal, and its consequences will echo throughout eternity. The true power lies in the ability to understand, for understanding is what transforms darkness into light. The devil, a master of deception, has always relied on illusion, twisting reality to control and manipulate the world. Fear, temptation, and lies have been its tools, and for ages they have brought even the most powerful to their knees. But when it faces you, everything changes. You do not fight the devil with weapons or brute strength. You confront it with understanding, with the unwavering ability to see through its illusions. While the devil thrives on confusion and deception, you bring clarity. Where there is fear, you offer calm. Where there is darkness, you bring light. Your presence alone disrupts the devil's hold, not because you are engaging in a battle of wills, but because you see things as they truly are. The devil's illusions lose their power in the face of your truth. The lies it has woven, the deceptions it has cast over the world, all begin to unravel when they come into contact with your understanding. You don't fall for its tricks or get ensnared in its webs. You recognize them for what they are: empty shadows, designed to distract and confuse. And when you stand in your truth, those shadows can no longer hide the light that is within you. This is where your true strength lies, not in resistance, but in your presence. You do not need to fight or engage in the devil's games. You simply stand firm in who you are, and in doing so, you expose the flaws in the devil's tactics. It is your clarity, your ability to see beyond the veil of deception, that makes you powerful. The devil, accustomed to twisting reality and manipulating those around it, is powerless against someone who refuses to be deceived. The power of your understanding breaks the chains of its control. In this light, the devil is revealed for what it truly is, nothing more than a collection of lies built on fear and manipulation. And when it stands before you, exposed, it begins to unravel. You see the truth in all things, and this understanding cannot be hidden, no matter how many layers of illusion the devil tries to place over it. Your light shines through the darkness, breaking down the walls the devil has built, and revealing the truth that has always been there. The devil's greatest weapon has always been its ability to deceive. But when you walk in understanding, you turn its weapon into nothing more than a fleeting illusion. And in this understanding, the light you carry cannot be extinguished, no matter how hard the devil tries. Your clarity is a force that the devil cannot match, for in the presence of truth, every lie is revealed. Chosen one, as you stand firm in your truth, remember this: you are not like the others. You were never meant to follow the crowd or shrink in fear, but to rise above, to embrace the power that lies within you. The light you carry cannot be extinguished by darkness, and the truth you embody is a force that will always break through the lies. You are a beacon in a world that often seems lost in shadows, and your presence alone is enough to shift the very fabric of reality. Your strength lies in your authenticity, your unwavering understanding of who you are. The challenges you face, the trials you endure, are not here to break you. They are here to refine you, to shape you into the powerful force of change you were always meant to be. As you continue on your journey, embrace this power within you. Stand tall in your light, knowing that you are not alone. The universe is supporting you every step of the way. And with each step you take, you inspire others to rise, to find their own strength, and to stand in their truth. The world needs you now more than ever, chosen one. I want to take a moment to thank you for being here, for listening, for embracing the light within yourself. If this message has resonated with you, and if you feel called to join this journey of truth and transformation, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. By doing so, you'll never miss an inspiring story or powerful message that could fuel your path toward greatness. Your presence and support help spread these truths further, touching lives all around the world. Thank you for being part of this community. May you continue to walk in strength with your light shining brightly for all to see. You are blessed, you are seen, and you are loved. Keep shining, chosen one. Listen closely, chosen ones. The veil between heaven and earth grows thinner by the day. Can you feel it? That subtle stirring in your soul? The atmosphere has shifted. Something divine is unfolding, not in the far-off future, but now. A movement is taking place in the unseen realms. The messengers of heaven have descended. The four angels, not symbols, not metaphors, but real, appointed servants of the Most High, have arrived, and they come bearing messages that will forever reshape your understanding of who you are and why you're here. This message is not for everyone. It is not for the comfortable, the complacent, or the curious. It is for the called, the 144,000, those who have been marked, set apart, chosen from before the foundations of the world. If these words strike something deep within you, if your heart is pounding and your spirit is trembling with recognition, then this message was always meant for you. Comment 999 below as a public declaration. I recognize the call of God on my life, because everything is about to change. Have you ever asked yourself why your path has always felt so different? Why your journey has been marked by deeper battles, heavier burdens, and a sense of loneliness that others seem untouched by? While many around you move through life with ease, fitting effortlessly into the world's patterns. You've always felt like an outsider, like a soul walking against the current. But this difference hasn't been a punishment. It's been preparation, a divine shaping, a holy refining. From the very beginning, God set you apart. You were never meant to blend in. That ache you feel deep in your spirit, that quiet, persistent longing for something more, is not a sign of discontent. It's the echo of eternity within you. It's heaven whispering to your soul. You were born for something greater. You've always sensed it, haven't you? That your life carries a weight, a calling, something sacred woven into your very being. And now, the time of waiting is over. The moment you've felt approaching for so long has finally arrived. The four angels have come, not with gentle reassurances or vague encouragements, but with divine mandates. Their messages will stir your soul, challenge your comfort, and ignite something eternal within you. These are not ordinary words. They are assignments from heaven. Once you hear them, you will not be the same. Because truth, once revealed, cannot be unseen. This is your awakening. This is your summons. You are not being asked to observe. You are being called to arise. So the question now is not, did God call me? The question is, are you ready? Ready to walk away from what's familiar. Ready to step into who you truly are. Because the moment of awakening is here. Message 1. Look into your life. You were never meant to belong. The first angel speaks, and his voice slices through the noise like a sword of light. Look into your life. These words are not a suggestion. They are a divine summons. For too long, you have lived under illusions, wrapped in the layers of a broken system that taught you to chase what was never meant for you. From your earliest days, the world handed you a script, telling you what to want, how to act, who to be. Success was defined by money. Value was measured by applause. Identity was shaped by the approval of others. You were told to climb the ladder, to accumulate, to impress. But deep down, none of it ever felt right, did it? That restless tension in your soul, the feeling that no matter how hard you try, something essential is still missing. It's not a flaw. It's confirmation. You were never designed to fit into a world built on empty pursuits. You were never meant to belong to it. Jesus said in John 15:19, "If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world." That unease you feel isn't confusion, it's calling. That quiet ache within you is heaven reminding you of your true identity. You were chosen, handpicked by God to walk a different path, one not defined by comfort, but by purpose. You've always known it, haven't you? That your story would never look like theirs, that your soul was wired for something more. Think of Moses, raised in Pharaoh's palace, surrounded by riches, influence, and power, everything the world could offer. He had access to the finest education, the grandest halls, and the highest status, but none of it could quiet the cry in his spirit. Though he wore the garments of royalty, something within him whispered, "This is not who I am." Moses could have stayed. He could have lived out his days in luxury and ease. But when the time came, he chose to walk away from false identity and step into divine purpose. He left the palace to lead his people to freedom. He exchanged comfort for calling. And in doing so, he stepped into history. His story mirrors your own. What palaces are you still clinging to? What lies have wrapped themselves around your identity? Is it a career that pays well but drains your soul? A version of yourself you maintain just to be accepted? A title, an image, a lifestyle that looks good on the outside but feels hollow within? The world is full of these illusions. It packages emptiness as success, busyness as worth, and applause as love. But you were made for truth. And the first step toward awakening is to tear down the walls of illusion and ask the question few dare to face. Who am I really? Consider Malcolm X. Once caught in a life of crime, shaped by systems that tried to define him, he eventually encountered truth. and it awakened something within him that could not be silenced. He refused to continue living a lie. He broke free from the mold and walked boldly into purpose. His transformation impacted the world. Even Jim Carrey, a man who seemingly had it all, once said, "I wish everyone could become rich and famous so they could see it's not the answer." Because it's not. The world's promises shine like gold, but crumble like dust in your hands. They are distractions, counterfeits, shadows. And now, the angel's voice grows louder. How long will you stay asleep? How long will you chase what you already know cannot satisfy? How long will you keep trying to earn love, prove worth, or fit into spaces you were never meant to occupy? It's time to awaken, to see the world as it is, and to step into who you truly are. Let go of the illusion. Let go of the false chase for success, for fame, for fleeting approval. You were not born to conform. You were born to awaken. Message 2. Stand apart. The rejection was never random. The second angel speaks. Stand apart. Have you ever questioned why you're so often misunderstood? Why people turn away from you, grow cold, or even oppose you without reason? It's not because you've done something wrong. It's because the light within you reveals what others would rather keep hidden. Your spirit carries truth, and that truth confronts the illusions people cling to. Even in silence, your presence speaks, and that alone is enough to disturb the comfort of those still bound by darkness. Jesus himself said in John 15:18, "If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first." The world does not reject you because you're broken, but because you're chosen. Your rejection is not your ruin, it is your revelation. Look at Joseph. His own brothers hated him, not because he failed them, but because of the divine favor upon his life. They were disturbed by his dreams, threatened by his calling. So they threw him into a pit, hoping to destroy what they didn't understand. But that pit became the very path to his purpose. As Joseph would later declare, "What you meant for evil, God meant for good." And the same is true for you. Throughout history, this pattern repeats. Nikola Tesla, a man ahead of his time, was mocked and erased because his brilliance shook the foundations of power. Albert Einstein was labeled slow as a child, misunderstood because his genius didn't conform to the system. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't good enough, yet those very wounds became the soil from which her destiny bloomed. These stories confirm what your soul already knows. You were never meant to be accepted. You were meant to be set apart. So let the world reject you. Let them question, mock, or misunderstand you. Their rejection is not a verdict. It's a signpost pointing to the hand of God on your life. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. Heaven sees you. Message 3. Obey without delay. Time is running out. The third angel thunders. Obey without delay. This is not the hour to hesitate. The call has already been given. The mission is not somewhere out in the distance. It's already in your hands. Deep down, you know what you're called to do. You've felt it stirring in your spirit, echoing in your heart. The question is no longer what you're meant to do. It's when you will act. How many more signs do you need? How many times must God confirm what he has already spoken before you finally step forward? One of the enemy's most subtle and devastating weapons isn't always opposition. It's hesitation. It's the quiet voice that says, "Later. Wait. You're not ready yet." It's distraction, busyness, second-guessing, and delay. But hear this truth clearly. Delayed obedience is still disobedience. Think of Moses standing before the burning bush, questioning if he was capable. Think of Esther, trembling before the king, risking everything for a people in peril. Think of David, young and underestimated, running toward a giant with nothing but a sling and faith. None of them felt fully prepared, but they obeyed. And their obedience didn't just fulfill their calling, it unleashed miracles. The Israelites didn't see the Red Sea part until they moved. The walls of Jericho didn't fall until they marched. What miracles in your life are still waiting for your first step of faith? Even outside of Scripture, this principle stands. Steve Jobs once said, Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Elon Musk was mocked and doubted, but he pressed forward, not because it was easy, but because he believed in the mission. And now, it's your turn. Stop waiting to feel ready. You are ready because God has already called you. The windows of opportunity won't remain open forever. If you don't move now, you risk missing the very thing you've been praying for. The time is now. Heaven is waiting. Will you obey? Message 4. Speak the truth. Let your voice roar. The fourth angel speaks, and his words burn like fire. Speak the truth. Your voice was never meant for silence. It was forged in heaven to break chains, to shatter deception, to awaken those who have been lulled to sleep by the lies of this world. You were given divine sight not to remain quiet, but to speak boldly what others are too afraid to say. In a world drowning in confusion and compromise, your voice is a trumpet, a call to return, a sound that leads the lost back home. When God called the prophet Jeremiah, he protested, "I do not know how to speak." But God responded with power. "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart and appointed you as a prophet to the nations." That same anointing rests on you. You were not randomly chosen. You were called, prepared, and positioned for such a time as this. The enemy has done everything to silence you. He's whispered lies that your voice doesn't matter, that your words will fall flat, that no one will listen. But the truth is this: your silence is his greatest victory, and you were never meant to hand it to him. Look at John the Baptist. He didn't whisper in comfort. He cried out in the wilderness. Elijah stood alone on Mount Carmel, confronting hundreds of false prophets with nothing but truth and boldness. And Jesus, our Savior, was not crucified for remaining silent. He was crucified because his truth shook the foundations of power and exposed what the world wanted hidden. You are part of that same spiritual lineage. Their fire runs through your veins. Their courage rests in your spirit. And now, it's your turn. Open your mouth. Speak, not with fear, not with apology, but with the unshakable authority of heaven itself. The world needs your voice, and heaven has already given you the words. Chosen one. This is not just a message. It is a divine summons. The four angels have spoken, and their voices echo through the spirit realm, calling you out of hiding, out of hesitation, and into the fullness of your purpose. The question now is no longer if God has called you. That has already been settled. The real question is, will you respond? This is your moment. No more delay. No more shrinking back. No more playing small in a world that needs your light to shine in full strength. You were born for this. You were fashioned for such a time as this. To rise, to speak, to lead, to carry heaven's fire into the darkest places. So now, let us pray together, not out of habit, but as a bold declaration of surrender and obedience. Heavenly Father, you have called me. You have chosen me. You have placed your fire within me. I repent for every moment I allowed fear to silence me, for every time I waited when I should have moved. Today, I say yes. I will not delay. I will not hesitate. I will not shrink back. Anoint my voice, O Lord. Let it roar with the power of your Spirit. Let every chain be broken through the truth I declare. I am not here to please the world. I am here to fulfill your will. Strengthen me, lead me, use me. Let your boldness rise in me, and let your words flow through me. Set me apart, and send me where you need me most. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. In Jesus' mighty name I pray, amen. You are not just being invited into a mission. You are being commissioned. Step forward. Heaven is already moving. Now it's your turn. You are part of something bigger than yourself. You are one of the 144,000, not merely a number, but a movement, a remnant, a force of light in a world of darkness, a generation rising up to fulfill prophecy and bring about God's divine plan on earth. Let this message take root in your soul. Let it stir you to action. And if this word has resonated deeply within you, consider supporting this mission through a super thanks or by simply liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing. Your support in any form helps spread this fire. Share your thoughts in the comments. How is God calling you? What has this message awakened in you? Let your voice be heard. It may be the very thing someone else needs to step into their destiny. Thank you for being part of this divine community. May God bless you. May His angels go before you. And may you walk boldly in the purpose for which you were created. Beloved chosen one, the moment you have long felt in your soul has arrived. No longer do you need to question why you have always felt different, why the world's rules never seemed to apply to you, why the paths others walked with ease never felt like yours to take. Deep within, you have always known. You were never meant to belong to this world. The systems, the structures, the expectations placed upon you, they were all illusions meant to keep you confined. Yet despite every attempt to shape you into something ordinary, your spirit has remained unshaken. And now, the veil is lifting. The truth is emerging. Your real family has come to find you. They have always been there, watching, guiding, waiting for the moment you would awaken to your true destiny. That moment is now. You were never meant to live an ordinary life. You were meant for greatness. Your path was never like others. It was divinely designed, crafted by the hands of a power greater than this world. It is time to reclaim your place, to embrace the truth of who you are, and to walk into the life you are always destined to live. Chapter 1. The signs you have always known. From the moment you became aware of the world around you, something felt different. It wasn't just a fleeting thought or a passing feeling. It was a deep, unshakable knowing that you did not quite belong in the way others seemed to. While those around you moved through life effortlessly, following the unspoken rules of society, you felt like an observer, watching a world that never fully resonated with your soul. You sensed that something far greater existed beyond what was presented to you. As a child, you often found yourself lost in thought, questioning the very nature of reality. Why did people accept things the way they were? Why did they follow rules without questioning who created them? Why did they live in fear of failure, of judgment, of stepping beyond the lines drawn for them? You saw the cracks in the foundation of the world's systems. You noticed how people willingly surrendered their freedom in exchange for comfort, how they followed paths dictated by others without ever daring to forge their own. But you refused. You tried to fit in, to silence that voice inside you that told you there was more. But no matter how hard you tried, it never worked. The conversations around you felt shallow. The ambitions of others seemed empty. While people chased after material success, status, and approval, you longed for something deeper, something eternal. You searched for meaning in ways that others could not understand. There were moments when you felt isolated, wondering if anyone else could sense what you sensed, if anyone else saw beyond the illusion. But even in those lonely moments, your spirit could not be silenced. In the quiet hours of the night, when the world was asleep, your soul stirred. In the spaces between words, in the pauses between breaths, you felt the truth whispering to you. You are more than this. You were meant for something greater. And now, at last, that deep knowing is being confirmed. The questions that have followed you for so long, the quiet urges of your soul, the persistent feeling that you were destined for something beyond this world, they were never wrong. You were never imagining things. You were never lost. You were always awake. Chapter 2. The moment of transformation. Have you ever witnessed a moment when someone who once seemed unshakable, so sure of themselves, so unwavering in their beliefs, suddenly hesitates? A soldier trained for battle, conditioned to react without fear, yet in a critical moment, their hands tremble. A leader, once moving with unbreakable confidence, now questions the very decisions they once made without doubt. A figure of power and certainty, suddenly uncertain. What could cause such a profound shift? What force is great enough to disrupt years, perhaps even a lifetime of conditioning? It happens when they encounter something greater than themselves. This is the moment when everything changes. It is the breaking point between who they were and who they are meant to become. It is the moment when the weight of truth becomes undeniable, when the veil of illusion is torn away, revealing what was hidden all along. King Saul knew this moment well. Chosen by God to lead Israel, he commanded with authority, making decisions that shaped the fate of a nation. He was strong, respected, and anointed for greatness. Yet, when he turned away from divine guidance, his power began to fade. His confidence eroded, his decisions faltered, and his spirit grew restless. The prophet Samuel rebuked him with words that cut deeper than any sword. To obey is better than sacrifice, for rebellion is as the sin of divination, and arrogance like the evil of idolatry. Saul had been trained to rule, but when confronted with the will of God, he realized his power was nothing without obedience. He had relied on his own understanding, his own strength, but the very foundation upon which he had built his life began to crumble. How often do we find ourselves in the same position? We trust in what we've been taught, in the skills and knowledge we've accumulated, believing they will carry us forward. But what happens when we are faced with something beyond the scope of our understanding? What happens when we realize that everything we've relied on has only prepared us for one final lesson, that there is something higher than all we have known? Moses, too, faced hesitation before his divine mission. He stood before the burning bush, trembling at the thought of confronting Pharaoh. "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" he asked. The doubt crept in, the hesitation held him back. But God's response was simple, powerful, and absolute. "I will be with you." Even Jesus, the Son of God, knew this moment of hesitation. In the Garden of Gethsemane, the weight of the path before him bore down upon his soul. The suffering, the sacrifice, it was overwhelming. And so, he prayed, "Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me. Yet not my will, but yours be done." It was not weakness. It was the human soul standing before the divine will, trembling at the enormity of what lay ahead. And now, it is happening to you. You are standing at the threshold of transformation. The old ways, the old beliefs, the old self, they are falling away. The hesitation you feel is not fear. It is the weight of the calling that has been placed upon you. You are being asked to step beyond what you have known, to release the safety of familiarity, and to embrace the path laid before you. Chapter 3. The Truth That Shatters Illusions. The world is not what it seems. The systems that govern it, the structures that shape it, the rulers who claim power over it, none of them hold the authority they believe they do. For centuries, they have built illusions of control, designing institutions, laws, and ideologies meant to shape the minds of the masses. They dictate what is possible and what is not, who will rise and who will fall, who will be heard and who will be silenced. And yet, beneath their carefully constructed world, truth has never been bound by their rules. There is a reason they work so hard to maintain their control. They know that power is fragile, that their influence is only as strong as the belief of those who submit to it. The moment people awaken to the truth, the illusion crumbles. That is why they fear those who cannot be controlled, those whose eyes have been opened, those who see beyond the veil of deception. Think of David standing before Goliath. The world saw a boy small, unarmed, untrained. Goliath, a giant of war, stood towering over him, clad in armor, holding weapons forged for battle. By every earthly standard, David did not stand a chance. But David knew something that Goliath did not. He did not fight with swords or shields. His strength did not come from the weapons of men. Instead, he declared, "You come against me with sword and spear, But I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty." And with a single stone, the giant fell. This is the truth they do not want you to know. The real power has never belonged to them. It has always belonged to those who walk in faith, to those who understand that divine strength is greater than anything man can build. The same power that was with David is with you. It is the power that delivered Moses, the man who stood against Pharaoh and led his people to freedom. The power that sustained Jesus, who bore the weight of the cross yet conquered death itself. The power that freed Nelson Mandela after 27 years of imprisonment, transforming a prisoner into a president, a symbol of oppression into a symbol of hope. This power is moving through you right now, and that is why they fear you. The world does not understand those who refuse to be controlled. It cannot predict those who do not submit to its rules. So, it seeks to silence them. It buries their names, erases their history, rewrites their stories. It brands them as outcasts, rebels, threats to stability. Because the moment people see the truth, the moment they recognize that they were never truly bound, the entire system collapses. But here is the question. What happens when the thing they tried to suppress refuses to stay hidden? What happens when the voices they silence begin to rise again? What happens when the truth they buried pushes through the cracks, breaking the foundation of their illusion? They have spent their existence ensuring that the world follows a script, that people stay within the roles assigned to them. But you were never meant to follow their script. They cannot control you. They cannot contain you. And that terrifies them. The giant before you is nothing but a shadow. And just like David, you are armed with something greater than any weapon this world can create. Chapter 4. The Rise of the Chosen Ones. Throughout history, there have always been those who refused to be controlled, those who stood against the forces of oppression, who defied the expectations placed upon them, who refused to surrender to fear. They were not the strongest by worldly standards, nor were they always the most powerful in the eyes of men. But they carried something far greater, an unshakable spirit, a divine calling, and a truth that could not be silenced. Rosa Parks was just one woman, seated on a bus, in a world that told her she had no right to stand against injustice. But with a single act of defiance, refusing to give up her seat, she ignited a revolution. The system had told her she was powerless, yet her courage shattered the illusion of control. The ripple effect of her resistance reached far beyond that moment, proving that when even one person refuses to bow, the entire foundation of oppression begins to shake. Mahatma Gandhi did not fight with weapons. He did not raise an army. Instead, he stood in unwavering truth, choosing nonviolent resistance against the greatest empire of his time. He was beaten, imprisoned, mocked, but he did not break. Through his unrelenting faith and determination, the chains of British rule over India were shattered. The world told him that power belonged to the oppressors, but Gandhi proved that true power comes from the soul that refuses to be conquered. And then there was Jesus Christ, the greatest of them all. He was rejected by the world, mocked by the powerful, and crucified as though he was nothing. But those who sought to destroy him did not understand who they were trying to silence. They believed that nailing him to a cross would be the end of his story. But on the third day, he rose again. He overcame death itself, proving that no force in heaven or on earth could hold him down. And now, it is your turn. You have always known that you do not belong to this world in the way others do. You were never meant to blend in, to be just another part of a broken system. You were meant to rise above it. The forces of this world will tell you that you must obey, that you must conform, that you must accept their version of reality. But that is the greatest lie ever told. You were not created to fit into their mold. You were created to break it. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. You were born to be unstoppable. The world may try to contain you, but it cannot. The systems of control may try to silence you, but your voice will only grow louder. The forces of darkness may try to chain you, but you will break free. The rise of the chosen ones has begun, and nothing can stand in your way. This is the moment where everything changes. The hesitation is over. The waiting has ended. The truth has been revealed, and now your spirit stirs with certainty. You have always known there was something greater, a higher calling, a deeper truth, a purpose waiting to be fulfilled. Now, that moment has arrived. Your true home awaits. Your real family is here. Your destiny is calling, and heaven itself rejoices as you step forward. You were never meant to walk alone. The chosen ones rise together, bound not by the system. Listen carefully. This is not just another message. This is a prophecy, a divine alarm echoing through the heavens. You did not stumble upon this by accident. This moment was orchestrated by forces beyond your comprehension. If you choose to ignore it, you risk missing the most pivotal shift of your existence. The world stands at the edge of the unseen, teetering on the brink of something powerful, something irreversible. The air is charged with energy, the universe is stirring, and the battle between light and darkness is intensifying. And you are at the very center of it. March 15th is not just another date on the calendar. It is a threshold, a gateway, a cosmic intersection where the spiritual realm collides with your reality. This day holds an energy so powerful, so transformative, that it has the potential to shift your entire destiny. If you have been feeling an unshakable urgency, a restlessness in your soul, understand that it is not your imagination. It is the call of the divine. This is your awakening, a direct transmission from the heavens. Only those who are truly chosen will understand its magnitude. There is a stirring in the air, an invisible shift rippling beneath the surface of reality. It is subtle yet undeniable, a tension pressing against your spirit, an unease that refuses to be silenced. Something is changing, something profound and irreversible, and deep within, you can sense it. This is not imagination. This is not a coincidence. This is the call of destiny, reaching out to those who are ready to listen. Life has not been easy for you. The trials you have faced would have shattered others, but you are still standing. You have walked through storms that left you bruised and weary, endured seasons of isolation, betrayal, and misunderstanding. You have been pushed to the edges, forced into battles you never sought, attacked by unseen forces that sought to extinguish your light. And yet, here you are, stronger, wiser, rising. There is a reason for this. You were never meant to blend in. From the moment you took your first breath, you were set apart, chosen for something greater. The struggles you have endured were never random. They were forging you, preparing you for a moment such as this. The world may have tried to convince you that you are ordinary, that your dreams were too big, your visions too impossible. But deep in your soul, you have always known the truth. You were never meant to live in the shadows. You carry within you something that darkness fears, a power, a light, an unshakable force waiting to be unleashed. And now, that power is awakening. March 15th is no ordinary day, and you are no ordinary being. You have been called, chosen, and positioned for a purpose far greater than you can yet comprehend. Every hardship, every delay, every loss has led you to this very moment. The question is no longer whether you are meant for something greater. The question is whether you will answer the call. The signs are all around you. The path is unfolding, but only those who have the eyes to see and the courage to step forward will embrace their destiny. The choice is yours. The battle has already begun. Forces unseen are shifting, moving, colliding in ways most cannot perceive. But you feel it. The tension, the weight pressing against your spirit, the sense that something profound is unfolding just beyond the veil of ordinary life. This is not a passing moment. This is not a mere coincidence. This is the confirmation you have been seeking. If you have been waiting for a sign, this is it. If you have been searching for an answer, this is your confirmation. The forces of darkness are well aware of what is coming, and they are afraid. That is why your battles have intensified. That is why the opposition has felt relentless. The enemy does not strike those who are weak, those who pose no threat. It targets the ones who carry light, the ones who are destined to awaken, the ones who will break chains and shift realities. That is why you have faced resistance. That is why fear has tried to creep in, whispering lies, making you question your purpose. But hear this truth. The darkness would not fight so hard if it were not terrified of what you are about to become. March 15th is a spiritual threshold, a defining moment, a test that will separate the awakened from the asleep, the bold from the hesitant, the chosen from the lost. Those who remain blind will walk past it without realizing its significance. Those who are consumed by distractions, weighed down by fear and doubt, will stay trapped in darkness. But those who are truly awake, those who have felt the call deep within their souls, will recognize the signs. They will understand that this is the moment to step fully into their power. There is no more time for hesitation, no more room for doubt. The battle is reaching its climax, and every force of light and darkness is watching to see who will rise. You are not here by accident. You were placed in this moment, in this time, for a reason. You were meant to stand. You were meant to fight. You were meant to awaken. So the choice is now before you. Will you allow fear to keep you bound, or will you step forward, fully embracing the destiny that has been waiting for you? Will you let the distractions of the world lull you back into complacency, or will you recognize that this is the moment you were made for? The days before March 15th are not ordinary. They carry a weight, a meaning, a purpose that only those who are truly attuned will recognize. The universe is speaking, shifting, aligning, preparing those who are ready to receive. Every moment leading up to this day is significant, and if you are paying attention, you will see the signs unfolding before you. Pay close attention. Your dreams will hold meaning. What may seem like random images or fleeting thoughts will, in truth, be messages encoded with divine wisdom. You may awaken with a lingering sense that you were shown something important, something beyond the veil of your conscious mind. Write them down, reflect on them. They are not mere illusions. They are glimpses of a greater truth. You will feel sudden energy shifts, waves of intensity washing over you, moments of deep clarity followed by moments of restlessness. This is not by accident. The unseen forces are moving, realigning, making way for what is to come. You may feel a heightened awareness, a sensitivity to the people around you, the places you visit, the conversations you engage in. Trust these feelings. They are guiding you. People will unexpectedly enter and exit your life. Some will come as messengers, bringing insights, revelations, and confirmations you were not expecting. Others will leave, their presence no longer aligned with where you are headed. Do not resist this. Relationships that no longer serve your growth will naturally dissolve, while those who are meant to walk with you into this new chapter will be drawn closer. Synchronicities will appear, patterns, repeated numbers, symbols that seem to follow you wherever you go. You may overhear a conversation that speaks directly to your situation. A passage in a book may feel as though it was written just for you. Divine whispers will echo through the ordinary, waiting for you to notice. Nothing will be random. Every interaction, every shift in energy, every fleeting thought will carry meaning. The universe is speaking. God is guiding. The path is unfolding before you. But the question remains, will you listen? If this message is stirring something deep within you, if a fire has ignited in your soul as you read these words, it is because your spirit already knows the truth. This is not the time for doubt. This is not the time for hesitation. You have been prepared for this moment. You have been called to be awake, aware, and ready. Step away from distractions. Silence the noise of the world and tune in to the higher frequencies that are guiding you. The signs are there. The messages are clear. March 15th is a spiritual marker, a moment where divine forces align to awaken and transform those who are ready. This is a day of revelation, of instruction, of undeniable transformation. It is a crossroads where the physical and the spiritual meet, where destinies shift, and where the chosen ones are called to step into their true power. On this day, the veil between the seen and the unseen will be thinner than ever. If your heart and spirit are open, if you are aligned with divine purpose, you will feel the shift. You may experience heightened intuition, moments of deep clarity where the confusion of the past suddenly dissolves. Prophetic dreams may come, revealing messages that guide you toward your next steps. Synchronicities will become undeniable. Patterns, numbers, and symbols will appear in ways that feel too perfect to be mere coincidence. Truths that have long been hidden will come to light. The answers you have been seeking, the mysteries that have eluded you will begin to unfold. But understand this, not all revelations will be easy. Some may shake you, challenge your perceptions, or force you to confront realities you had once avoided. Do not resist them. These moments of awakening are necessary for your elevation. Transformation requires letting go. As you stand at this spiritual crossroads, you must be willing to release the old in order to embrace what is coming. Holding onto outdated beliefs, unhealthy attachments, or past fears will only delay the shift that is meant for you. Trust the process. Trust that what is being revealed is for your highest good. March 15th is a day that will redefine everything. It is not just about witnessing the change. It is about embracing it, stepping forward with unwavering faith, and aligning yourself with the divine plan that has been waiting for you. This is your moment of awakening. Will you be ready? Every great blessing is preceded by a test. Every breakthrough is born out of battle. This is not just a belief. It is a divine law, an unshakable spiritual principle that has been true since the beginning of time. Those who are called to something greater must first prove they are ready to receive it. Lately, the weight of trials has been heavy upon you. You have felt the relentless pressure, the spiritual attacks, the unexpected challenges that seem to come from every direction. At times, you may have even wondered, why is everything in my life falling apart just when I am so close to my purpose? But hear this truth. This is not a setback. It is preparation. What feels like resistance is, in reality, the final test before your elevation. March 15th is a pivotal moment in your journey, a crossroads where your destiny begins to take shape. But before you can step into the fullness of what has been prepared for you, you must first walk through the fire of testing. Your relationships will be tested. People you once trusted may reveal their true colors. Some may turn away from you, while others may try to pull you back into old patterns. Do not cling to those who cannot walk with you into this new season. Let them go. Your faith will be tested. Doors that once seemed wide open may suddenly close. Opportunities you were certain of may slip away. But understand this, a delay is not a denial. Sometimes what appears to be rejection is divine redirection. Trust that what is meant for you will not pass you by. Your patience will be tested. Answers may not come as quickly as you desire, and the waiting may feel unbearable. But this waiting is not wasted time. It is the refining process, the moment where your endurance is strengthened, where your spirit is fortified for what is to come. The reason everything feels chaotic, the reason you are facing resistance, is because the enemy knows exactly how close you are to something big. It is afraid of what happens when you step fully into your power. It wants to distract you, discourage you, and make you believe that you are not ready. But the truth is, you have already been prepared. Every trial, every hardship, every tear has shaped you into the person who can handle what is coming. So stand firm. Hold your ground. Do not let fear convince you to turn back now. The test before the blessing is the final threshold, the last step before you step into what is truly yours. March 15th marks a turning point, a moment of great separation. a shift so profound that many will not be prepared for it. This is the moment where the past and the future collide, where you are called to make a choice. Cling to what no longer serves you, or step boldly into what is meant for you. A divine shift is happening, and with it comes a demand. You cannot carry dead weight into your destiny. You cannot hold on to the people, habits, and mindsets that no longer align with your purpose and still expect to rise. Growth requires sacrifice, and elevation demands release. Many of you have already sensed this coming. The friendships that once felt comforting now drain your energy. Conversations that once entertained you now feel hollow. The places and routines that once felt safe now suffocate you. This is not a coincidence. This is divine intervention. The universe is rearranging, restructuring, making space for what is truly meant for you. But some of you are resisting. You feel the pull to move forward, yet fear keeps you clinging to the familiar. You hesitate to let go because you do not know what lies ahead. But hear this. Holding on to what is dying will only delay what is coming alive. The longer you resist, the more painful the process will become. Let them go. Let go of the relationships that drain you, the doubts that cripple you, the version of yourself that was built on survival. That version of you has served its purpose. But now, you are not in survival mode anymore. You are in ascension mode. The universe is making it clear. What is meant for you will remain, and what is not will be removed. Do not chase. Do not force. Do not beg to hold on to what is slipping away. Trust that this separation is sacred. Trust that what is coming is far greater than what is being left behind. March 15th will divide those who are willing to embrace the new from those who are too afraid to let go of the old. The question now is not whether the shift is happening. The question is, will you allow yourself to rise, or will you cling to what is already fading away? This moment is no longer just a warning. It is a decision. You stand at the threshold of transformation, a crossroads where your choice will define the path ahead. There are only two options before you. Awaken, step into your destiny, and claim the purpose for which you were created, or allow fear and doubt to pull you back into the shadows of hesitation and regret. Deep down, you already know the truth. You have felt it stirring in your heart, whispering in your spirit. You have seen the signs, the patterns woven into your life. Every challenge, every setback, every moment of uncertainty was not random. It was preparation. The trials you endured were never meant to break you, but to shape you. You were not abandoned. You were being refined. And now, the moment has arrived. The call is clear. March 15th will not wait. Destiny will not wait. The time for hesitation is over. The world is shifting, and you were born for such a time as this. So the final question remains. Are you ready? Not just to dream, not just to hope, but to take action, to rise, to embrace the power that has been placed within you, and to step fully into the life that is waiting for you. If you hear this message and it resonates, then let this be your sign. Like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning. The journey is unfolding, and you are meant to be part of it. This is your moment. Rise, step into your power. The time is now. Chosen ones. Have you shared a dream so dear to your heart, only to watch it unravel before your eyes? Have you spoken your deepest intentions aloud, only to feel an invisible resistance, as if the very act of revealing them drained them of their power? There is an ancient wisdom, one that the spiritually awakened have always known. Silence is a shield. It is a sacred container that protects what is still in the process of becoming. When you speak too soon, you expose your vision to forces that may not support it. Doubt, skepticism, envy, or even well-meaning voices that unknowingly plant seeds of hesitation in your mind. But when you keep your dreams guarded in stillness, you give them the space to grow strong, undisturbed by external interference. The Bible reminds us, "Whoever guards his mouth preserves his life. He who opens wide his lips comes to ruin. Your dreams are like fragile seeds planted in the soil. A farmer does not dig up the seed every day to see if it is growing. He trusts the process, knowing that in the right time, the roots will strengthen and the plant will break through the surface. In the same way, the visions God has placed in your heart need protection, not premature exposure. Nehemiah's story is a powerful testament to the wisdom of silent preparation and the importance of moving with discernment. When he set out to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, he did not rush to announce his plans to the world. Instead, he moved in secrecy, taking time to assess the situation, pray, and seek divine guidance before taking action. He understood that not everyone would support his mission, and that opposition was inevitable. True enough, resistance arose in the form of Sanballat and Tobiah, men who not only ridiculed his efforts but actively sought to undermine his work. However, Nehemiah was not shaken by their words, nor did he allow their distractions to pull him away from what God had called him to do. He knew that his purpose did not require validation from others. It only required obedience and faith in God's timing. Rather than engaging in arguments or defending himself against his critics, Nehemiah remained steadfast. He let his actions speak louder than words, trusting that his success would be evident in time. His approach was not one of loud proclamations or seeking public approval, but of careful strategy, unwavering faith, and reliance on God's divine favor. Against all odds, the walls of Jerusalem were restored, not because Nehemiah sought recognition, but because he trusted in the process and in the power of silent preparation. His victory was not in making noise but in moving wisely, allowing his faith and diligence to bring forth the results that no enemy could deny. Nehemiah's story teaches us a vital lesson. When God gives us a vision, we must protect it. Not every idea, dream, or purpose is meant to be shared prematurely. When we move in silence, we create a space where our plans can develop without interference. We stay focused without being burdened by the doubts and opinions of others. In a world that often pressures us to broadcast every step of our journey to seek external validation, to prove our worth, or to gain approval, Nehemiah reminds us that true progress happens in the unseen moments. It is in the quiet, behind the scenes, where faith, preparation, and obedience align to bring forth victory in God's perfect timing. His life is proof that when we trust in God's process and move with wisdom, the fruits of our labor will be undeniable. We do not need to convince anyone of what God has called us to do. Our results will speak for themselves. Like Nehemiah, we must learn to guard our purpose, to work diligently in the background, and to trust that when the time is right, God will reveal our success in a way that no one can ignore. Joseph's story also is a lesson on the cost of speaking too soon. Gifted with prophetic dreams from God, Joseph saw visions of his future greatness, where his brothers would one day bow before him. In his youthful eagerness, he shared these dreams openly, believing they would be met with understanding. Instead, his words stirred jealousy and resentment among his brothers, leading them to betray him, throw him into a pit, and sell him into slavery. What could have been a direct path to his destiny became a long and painful journey filled with trials, false accusations, imprisonment, and years of uncertainty. Though God's plan for Joseph remained intact, his early revelation of his dreams brought unnecessary hardship. His story serves as a reminder that not everyone is ready to hear what God has placed in our hearts. Some will doubt, others will mock, and some, even unknowingly, may become obstacles on our path. Wisdom teaches us that not every vision is meant to be shared prematurely. Just as a seed needs time to take root before it emerges from the soil, our dreams require quiet cultivation before they are revealed. Had Joseph kept his dreams close to his heart, he may have avoided the betrayal that altered the course of his journey. However, despite the setbacks, God's purpose for him was ultimately fulfilled. He rose to power in Egypt, saved nations from famine, and was eventually reconciled with his brothers. His life is proof that what God ordains cannot be stopped, but it is also a lesson in discernment. Timing matters, and silence can be a form of divine protection. When we trust God's process, rather than seeking immediate recognition, our destiny unfolds in perfect alignment with His will. Silence is far more than the absence of words. It is a powerful shield that protects our dreams, our purpose, and our spiritual journey. When we speak too soon, we expose our visions to forces that may not support them. Doubt, skepticism, and even jealousy can act as unseen weights, pulling our aspirations off course before they have had the chance to take root. Just as a young plant is vulnerable before its roots are firmly established, our dreams require time, care, and a period of quiet growth before they are ready to face the world. The Bible teaches us that wisdom is found in restraint, reminding us in Proverbs 17:27 through 28 that the one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. Keeping quiet does not mean lacking confidence. On the contrary, it is an act of discernment, a way to safeguard what is still growing. A farmer does not dig up a seed every day to check its progress because he understands that growth happens beneath the surface, where no one can see. He trusts that in the right time, the roots will strengthen, and the plant will break through the soil. In the same way, the visions God has placed in our hearts require protection, not premature exposure. Sharing our plans too soon can invite doubt, criticism, or interference, making it harder for us to stay focused on what God has called us to do. Moving in wisdom means recognizing that not everyone is meant to hear or understand our purpose. Some people, even with good intentions, may plant seeds of doubt or distraction that lead us away from our divine path. They may question our abilities, encourage us to take an easier route, or suggest compromises that weaken our faith. This is why we must be careful about who we allow into the sacred space of our dreams. Nehemiah, for example, rebuilt Jerusalem's walls in silence, keeping his plans hidden from his enemies until the right time. Because he moved with discretion, he was able to complete his mission without unnecessary obstacles. Joseph, on the other hand, spoke too soon about the dreams God had given him, and as a result, his journey was filled with hardship and betrayal. Though God's plan for Joseph was never destroyed, his path became more difficult because he revealed his vision before the appointed time. Silence is not weakness. It is strength, wisdom, and a form of spiritual protection. It is a sacred space where faith is built, purpose is refined, and destiny is nurtured. Just as a sculptor works on his masterpiece in private before revealing it to the world, we must allow God to shape our journey in the unseen before stepping into the fullness of His plan. When we move in wisdom and patience, we allow God's timing to work in our favor, ensuring that our dreams flourish without unnecessary resistance. Trust in His process, guard your vision, and know that when the time is right, what is meant for you will come to pass in a way that no one can deny. Jesus demonstrated the power of silence in the most pivotal moments of His life, showing that true strength does not always require words. Before His crucifixion, when He stood before Pilate, falsely accused and surrounded by voices demanding His fate, He did not argue, plead, or seek validation. Instead, He remained silent. Matthew 27:14 tells us, "But Jesus made no reply, not even to a single charge, to the great amazement of the governor." His silence was not weakness, it was power. It was a profound declaration that truth does not always need to be defended, for it is upheld by divine authority. When we are certain of our purpose, we do not need to convince others. Jesus understood that the will of God would prevail, regardless of human opinions, accusations, or opposition. His restraint teaches us a crucial lesson. Not every situation requires a response, and sometimes silence is the greatest act of wisdom. In our own lives, we often feel the need to explain, justify, or prove ourselves to those who misunderstand us. But Jesus shows us that when we walk in divine purpose, we do not need the approval of man. His silence before the storm of his crucifixion was an act of faith, trust, and surrender to God's plan. Likewise, we must learn to discern when to speak and when to be still, when to defend ourselves and when to let God fight our battles. The world may demand an explanation, but when we are aligned with God's will, our obedience speaks louder than any words ever could. True power is not in noise but in quiet confidence, knowing that God's plan will be fulfilled in His perfect timing. Trusting the process means believing that everything is unfolding in divine timing, even when we cannot see the full picture. In a world that values instant results, it can be difficult to wait for God's plan to unfold. We may feel the urge to rush ahead, to force outcomes, or to seek validation from others. But true faith requires patience. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens." Just as a seed takes time to grow beneath the soil before it emerges, our dreams and purpose require unseen preparation before they manifest. Many of the greatest figures in the Bible had to endure long periods of waiting before stepping into their calling. Joseph spent years in prison before becoming a ruler in Egypt. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before leading the Israelites to freedom. David was anointed king but did not take the throne immediately. He faced battles, rejection, and hardships before his destiny was fulfilled. Their stories remind us that God's delays are not His denials. Every challenge, every season of waiting, and every moment of uncertainty serves a greater purpose, shaping us into the people we need to be for the blessings ahead. When we rush the process, we risk stepping into something before we are truly ready. Imagine a tree trying to bear fruit before its roots are strong. It would not survive the storms that come its way. In the same way, when we trust God's timing, we allow our faith, wisdom, and character to develop so that we can sustain the blessings He has prepared for us. Isaiah 40:31 encourages us, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." Waiting is not passive. It is an active period of growth, refinement, and alignment with God's will. If you find yourself in a season of waiting, do not be discouraged. Your time will come, and when it does, it will be undeniable. The doors that God opens no one can shut, and the blessings He has prepared for you will arrive at the perfect moment. Until then, trust, prepare, and remain steadfast in faith. What is meant for you will not pass you by, and when God's appointed time arrives, everything will fall into place exactly as it was destined to be. If this message resonates with you, let's subscribe, share, and comment 7777 below as a bold declaration that you are ready to walk in wisdom. Trust divine timing and allow God to unfold His plan without interference. Your destiny is waiting. Will you protect it? There are moments in life that feel too profound to be mere coincidences, times when something deep within stirs, urging you to pay attention. You've experienced strange separations from people, constant opposition, or unexplainable moments of clarity and guidance. These are not random occurrences. They are signs of divine markers pointing to a greater calling on your life. Some people go through life without ever experiencing these signs, but for those chosen for an extraordinary purpose, they are undeniable. If you've noticed them, they are evidence of a divine anointing that sets you apart. Your journey is not like everyone else's because your destiny is different. In this video, we will uncover 5 mysterious signs that indicate you are dangerously anointed, chosen by God for something far greater than you may even realize. These signs are not just rare, they are profound, shaping your path and revealing a higher plan unfolding in your life. If you've ever felt like you were meant for something extraordinary, pay close attention. The signs you've encountered may be the confirmation you've been seeking. Sign number 1. Unexplainable isolation, a divine separation. There comes a point in life when you begin to feel an unexplainable distance growing between you and the people who once felt like home. Friends who were once constants in your life begin to drift away. Relationships that once provided comfort and stability start to feel strained, and in some cases they break apart completely. Even familiar places, your childhood home, your workplace, your social circles, start to feel different, as though you no longer belong. It's not just a phase, it's a shift that leaves you feeling like an outsider in your own world. At first, you may try to rationalize it. You wonder if you've done something wrong, if people are changing, or if life is simply pulling everyone in different directions. But deep down, there's a nagging feeling that something bigger is at play. This feeling of isolation is not a coincidence, it is a divine separation. When God anoints someone for a higher purpose, He often removes them from environments, relationships, and distractions that no longer serve their destiny. What feels like loneliness is, in reality, a season of preparation. God is setting you apart, not to punish you, but to refine you for what lies ahead. Many of the greatest figures in the Bible went through this same process. Moses spent years alone in the wilderness before leading Israel to freedom. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers and thrown into prison before he was elevated to power. Even Jesus withdrew into solitude, spending 40 days in the desert before beginning his ministry. Isolation is often the training ground for the anointed, a sacred period where God strengthens your faith, sharpens your vision, and deepens your dependence on Him. This period of separation is not just about external relationships. It is also an internal transformation. God is removing not only people from your life, but also the versions of yourself that can't go where He is taking you. The old habits, the need for validation, the distractions, He is stripping them away so that you can step fully into the person He created you to be. It is in the quiet, when the noise of the world fades, that you begin to hear God's voice more clearly. You start to understand His plan in ways you couldn't before. Though painful, this season of isolation is temporary. It is not meant to last forever, but to prepare you for the next chapter. When the time is right, God will bring the right people into your life, those who align with your purpose, who uplift and strengthen you, who walk with you in faith. Until then, embrace this sacred space. Use this time to heal, to grow, and to deepen your connection with God. Trust that He is not removing things from your life to harm you, but to position you for something far greater. Your isolation is not rejection, it is redirection. You are being set apart, not forgotten. And when the season shifts, you will emerge stronger, wiser, and fully prepared for the calling placed upon your life. Sign number 2. Constant opposition and unprovoked attacks. The weight of your calling. One of the most undeniable signs of divine anointing is the resistance that seems to follow you, even when you have done nothing to provoke it. You may notice that people misunderstand you, criticize you, or even turn against you without cause. Relationships that once felt secure may suddenly become strained, and those who once supported you may now seem distant or even hostile. Sometimes the opposition comes in the form of jealousy, gossip, or betrayal from people you least expected. Other times it may appear as obstacles, setbacks, or an unrelenting series of challenges that make you question why things are so difficult. It can be disheartening to feel like no matter what you do, you are met with resistance at every turn. But this is not a coincidence. This is spiritual warfare. When God anoints someone for a great purpose, the enemy takes notice. The weight of your calling attracts opposition, not because you are doing something wrong, but because you are a threat to darkness. Your presence, your gifts, and your potential make others uncomfortable, even if they cannot fully understand why. Some will be drawn to your light while others will resist it, fearing what they do not understand. The enemy sees what you carry even when you do not, and will do everything possible to discourage, distract, and derail you before you fully step into your purpose. The greater the calling, the greater the battle. This is why many who are destined for extraordinary things experience extraordinary challenges. But opposition is not a sign of failure. It is confirmation that you are walking in the right direction. The enemy does not waste time attacking those who pose no threat. If you find yourself constantly facing resistance, it is because your purpose is powerful. This battle is not just about people turning against you. It is about the unseen spiritual forces working to shake your faith and cause you to doubt yourself. It may manifest as deep discouragement, moments of self-doubt, or overwhelming fatigue. The enemy's goal is to make you believe that you are not strong enough, not worthy enough, or not capable of fulfilling the calling on your life. However, opposition is also an opportunity. Every challenge, every betrayal, and every difficulty is refining you, making you stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what lies ahead. Through resistance, God is building resilience in you. Instead of letting opposition shake you, let it remind you of who you are and who you are. Stay rooted in prayer, seek God's wisdom before responding to conflict, and protect your peace. Not every battle is meant to be fought. Some require you to rise above and trust that God will handle the rest. Surround yourself with those who uplift and encourage you, and most importantly, trust that every challenge you face is part of the process. You are not called to an ordinary life, and that means you will face extraordinary battles. But take heart, God is with you, strengthening you for the journey ahead. Sign number 3, unusual sensitivity to energy and environments. The gift of spiritual discernment. Have you ever stepped into a room and instantly felt the atmosphere shift, sensing an unspoken tension or an overwhelming peace before a single word was spoken? Do you find yourself deeply affected by the emotions of others, as if you can feel their joy, pain, or sorrow without them saying a word? This heightened sensitivity is not a coincidence. It is a divine gift, a form of spiritual discernment given to those who are called to a greater purpose. People who are anointed often possess an unusual awareness of the energy around them. They can sense when something is off, even if there is no visible reason for it. Certain places may bring them a deep sense of peace and clarity, while others may leave them feeling drained, uneasy, or spiritually burdened. This is because their spirit is attuned to the unseen, able to perceive spiritual realities beyond what the natural eye can detect. This sensitivity is a tool, given by God, to help them navigate life with wisdom, recognize hidden motives, and avoid situations that could be harmful to their calling. However, carrying this gift comes with challenges. Constantly absorbing the emotions and energy of others can be exhausting, leaving you feeling emotionally and spiritually depleted. Being able to sense unspoken truths can sometimes feel isolating, as though you are experiencing a reality that others do not understand. The weight of knowing things before they happen, feeling the burdens of those around you, or discerning deception can be overwhelming if not properly managed. This is why it is essential to stay spiritually grounded. To protect your peace, it is important to spend intentional time in prayer and meditation, asking God to guide and strengthen you. Visualizing a spiritual shield around yourself, filtering out negativity while allowing divine wisdom to flow, can help you maintain balance. Setting boundaries and learning when to step away from overwhelming situations is also crucial. Your sensitivity is not a weakness, it is a divine compass, leading you toward truth, alignment, and purpose. Embrace it, nurture it, and use it to walk in wisdom. You were given this gift for a reason, and when used correctly, it can help you fulfill the extraordinary calling God has placed on your life. Sign number 4, repeated signs and synchronicities, divine messages in plain sight. There are moments in life when reality seems to whisper, when ordinary events take on an unusual sense of meaning, as if the universe itself is trying to get your attention. You keep seeing the same numbers, 1111, 444, appearing on clocks, receipts, and license plates. Maybe you hear a particular phrase repeated by different people, or a song plays at the exact moment when you need encouragement. These are not coincidences. They are divine messages, subtle yet powerful signs meant to guide and reassure you. For those who are anointed, these synchronicities appear frequently, especially in times of uncertainty or transition. They are like spiritual breadcrumbs, leading you along the path that has been predestined for you. Sometimes they come as symbols: a feather appearing unexpectedly, a butterfly landing beside you in a moment of deep contemplation, or a stranger saying words that directly answer a question you've been silently asking God. Other times, they manifest as perfectly timed events. Just when you are about to give up, an opportunity presents itself, or when you feel lost, an unexpected conversation provides the clarity you need. These moments are too precise to be random. They are divine alignments orchestrated by God. The challenge, however, is recognizing these signs for what they are. In the busyness of life, it is easy to dismiss them as mere chance. But when patterns begin to emerge, when the same number, word, or experience keeps appearing, it is important to pause and reflect. What is God trying to tell you? How does this sign connect to what you have been praying about or struggling with? Keeping a journal of these experiences can help you see the bigger picture, revealing the deeper message that God is trying to communicate. While these signs are powerful, they are not meant to replace faith, but to strengthen it. They serve as reminders that God is actively involved in your journey, guiding your steps even when you feel uncertain. Instead of searching for signs, seek God first, and the signs will naturally follow. Trust that every repeated number, every well-timed encounter, and every mysterious synchronicity is a divine reassurance that you are on the right path, walking in alignment with His perfect plan for your life. Sign number 5. Divine favor and unexplainable breakthroughs. Walking in God's power. The most undeniable sign of divine anointing is the presence of supernatural favor in your life. You've exhausted every option, tried everything in your power, and yet, just when you're about to give up, a door opens where there was none. The financial provision arrives at the last minute, an unexpected opportunity appears, or a problem that seemed impossible is resolved effortlessly. These are not coincidences. They are evidence of divine favor. For those who are anointed, divine favor follows them in ways that cannot be explained by logic or effort alone. Opportunities seem to find them, people are drawn to help them, and success comes in ways that others struggle to attain. This favor is not about luck. It is the hand of God moving behind the scenes, aligning circumstances for His purpose. Sometimes, it comes in grand gestures: a promotion you didn't apply for, a connection that accelerates your destiny, or a miraculous healing. Other times it appears in quiet, subtle ways, meeting the right person at just the right time, stumbling upon the exact words of encouragement you needed, or finding a solution before you even knew you had a problem. However, divine favor is not just about receiving blessings. It comes with responsibility. When God grants favor, it is not meant to elevate you for personal gain, but to position you for impact. The resources, influence, and opportunities He gives you are tools to fulfill your calling, to serve others, and to glorify Him. Favor is a gift, but it is also a test. How you use it determines whether it continues to flow in your life. At times, it may feel like favor is delayed, as if you are waiting for a breakthrough that never comes. But God's timing is perfect, and what seems like a delay is often preparation. He is ensuring that when your moment arrives, you are ready to handle it. When favor does manifest, embrace it with gratitude, walk in it with humility, and use it wisely. It is a sign that God is not only with you but actively working on your behalf. Trust in His process, and know that every breakthrough is a step closer to the extraordinary purpose He has prepared for you. If these 5 signs resonate with you, take heart. You are not ordinary. You are anointed. Your journey may not always be easy, but it is leading you towards something extraordinary. Embrace the process. Trust in God's plan. And most importantly, never doubt the power of the calling on your life. Your anointing is not a burden. It is a divine assignment. Walk boldly in it. If this message speaks to you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, subscribe for more, and join this journey of divine alignment. The world needs your light. Let it shine. You are here, at this precise moment, not by accident but by divine orchestration. Every breath you've taken, every tear shed in quiet solitude, every whispered prayer in the dead of night has brought you to this sacred intersection. Right now, heaven itself is holding its breath because the shift you've been longing for, the spiritual awakening you've been silently yearning for, is no longer distant. It's here. It's now. This isn't merely another message. This is your divine appointment. Can you feel it? A stirring deep within your soul, a sensation of something powerful aligning, quietly rearranging your life from the unseen realm. You were never created for mediocrity. You've been handpicked by God Himself for a calling greater than you've ever imagined. As Scripture beautifully affirms in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Today, you're standing at the threshold of an encounter destined to transform your life. Something extraordinary is about to unfold in your life, something more powerful and beautiful than you've ever imagined. You've sensed it in the quiet whispers of your soul, felt it as a gentle stirring in moments of solitude, a divine restlessness guiding you towards something greater. This is not mere imagination or coincidence. It is heaven moving on your behalf, aligning unseen forces, meticulously arranging circumstances for a divine encounter. Every challenge you faced, every moment of uncertainty, every whispered prayer in the dark was leading you here, preparing you for this spiritual awakening that transcends anything you've previously experienced. It's deeper than physical change. It's a profound transformation at the very core of your being, an elevation into the spiritual reality you've always felt, but have yet to fully embrace. As the Scripture assures, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it?" Doors once closed are opening, barriers are being removed, and the life you once dreamed about is now within reach. You may feel uncertain or unprepared, yet know this: God never calls those who are already perfect. He perfects those He calls. Trust this divine timing, embrace this shift with courage, and step forward boldly into your calling. The moment is here, and your soul knows it. You are ready, chosen, and divinely equipped. Embrace this extraordinary shift, for it will transform your life and ripple outward, impacting the lives of many others. Throughout biblical history, God has consistently chosen ordinary people, elevating them from humble beginnings into extraordinary destinies, proving that divine calling transcends human limitations. Consider Moses, who began as a humble shepherd tending flocks in the solitude of the desert. Moses carried deep insecurities and doubts, feeling unworthy and inadequate when confronted by the magnitude of God's mission. Yet in the midst of his uncertainty, God appeared to him in a burning bush and called him from obscurity to confront Pharaoh, ultimately liberating an entire nation from bondage. Similarly, Esther was an ordinary orphan girl who unexpectedly found herself crowned queen, elevated by divine timing to a position of immense influence. Initially, she wrestled internally with fear and hesitation, questioning her ability to face the challenge ahead. Still, when her divine moment presented itself, she courageously stepped forward, risking everything to save her people from annihilation. And who could forget David, the forgotten shepherd boy overlooked by everyone, including his own family? Despite being an unlikely candidate for greatness, God saw something extraordinary within David, a heart capable of leadership, bravery, and profound faith. When his divine appointment arrived, David didn't hesitate. He embraced his anointing, stepping into his destiny with boldness, courage, and unwavering faith. Each of these biblical figures demonstrates the powerful truth that God does not choose those who are already perfect. He chooses ordinary, uncertain individuals and equips them as they move forward in faith. Today, just like Moses, Esther, and David, you may feel uncertain, unprepared, or even unworthy. Yet, remember that your feelings do not define your divine calling. When your divine moment arrives, step boldly into faith, knowing God will provide everything you need to fulfill the extraordinary purpose He has uniquely designed for you. When God prepares you for greater things, the signs are unmistakable and profound. You may experience an inner restlessness, a deep and persistent sense that your current circumstances no longer fulfill you. What once brought comfort and security now feels inadequate, as if your soul is quietly urging you towards something more significant. This dissatisfaction is not simply boredom or anxiety. It is the gentle yet firm nudging of the Holy Spirit, inviting you to step beyond the familiar into a greater spiritual calling. Alongside this restlessness, your intuition becomes sharper and more refined, allowing you to sense God's guidance more clearly. Choices that once seemed improbable or even uncomfortable now resonate deeply within your spirit, nudging you toward a divine path you've never considered before. This heightened intuition is God's voice whispering directly to your heart, steering you toward alignment with His perfect purpose. Your life may also experience shifts externally, relationships, routines, or even environments that previously felt essential begin to fade or lose significance. This detachment isn't random or accidental. It's intentional. God is gently removing distractions and creating space for the incredible blessings He's about to release. It might feel unsettling at first, even painful, but trust that this pruning is divine preparation. God is meticulously aligning every detail of your life, positioning you exactly where you need to be. You are being called from the ordinary into the extraordinary, a life not defined by comfort, but by courageous faith. Embrace this shift, for it is guiding you toward the destiny you've always carried within you. In moments of divine calling, fear often rises, whispering doubts and insecurities, trying desperately to convince you that you're unprepared or unworthy. Yet these feelings of fear and uncertainty are not signs urging you to retreat. Rather, they're evidence that you're standing at the threshold of your breakthrough. Scripture reassures us beautifully, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind. When fear attempts to hold you back, remember that God's divine power within you is far greater than the doubts whispering in your mind. This moment of hesitation, this inner battle, is exactly where true courage is born. Throughout biblical history, God never called individuals who felt ready. Instead, He chose ordinary men and women who doubted their abilities yet stepped forward in faith. When Moses stood trembling before Pharaoh, when Esther bravely faced potential death, and when young David confronted Goliath, none were without fear. Yet each overcame their uncertainty by trusting God's promise, and their faith changed history forever. Today you stand in a similar position, right on the edge of divine purpose. Embrace your fears as signs that you are stepping into greatness, equipped by God's power and love. Remain firm, knowing you're rooted deeply in His strength. The breakthrough you've prayed for, dreamed about, and longed to see is now within reach. Walk forward boldly, knowing that you have been divinely empowered to step beyond fear into a destiny greater than you've ever imagined. A profound part of your spiritual awakening is the sacred process of divine detachment, a necessary release of the old to embrace the extraordinary new beginning God has prepared for you. This sacred detachment isn't about loss, but rather about creating space for what God desires to bring into your life. You may notice a subtle distancing from things that once defined you, relationships, careers, habits, even environments that now feel misaligned with your spirit. At first, this might feel uncomfortable or even painful, like shedding layers of a familiar identity. But the Scripture gently reassures us, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing." As you gracefully let go, remember to release these things not with bitterness or regret, but with profound gratitude. Everything you've experienced until now served its divine purpose, shaping you, preparing you precisely for this transformative season. The act of letting go is not loss, it is freedom. By releasing what no longer serves your highest good, you create sacred space within your heart for God to plant something far more extraordinary. Embrace this divine detachment as a beautiful act of trust, knowing with certainty that the path ahead holds blessings greater than you've ever envisioned. As you step forward, expect new clarity, deeper joy, and divine opportunities crafted specifically for you. Your future will unfold in ways more magnificent than you ever imagined, affirming that God's new thing surpasses all you leave behind. God's calling often comes without clear directions or an obvious path. Just as Abraham was asked to leave everything familiar and journey into the unknown armed only with faith and a divine promise, you too are being summoned to take courageous steps forward, even when the destination isn't fully revealed. Abraham didn't have a map, timelines, or guarantees, yet he stepped out boldly, trusting completely in the one who had called him. Your life, like Abraham's, is guided by that same powerful unseen hand. You may not see the full picture or know every detail ahead, but you can trust that each step is divinely orchestrated, aligned perfectly with God's ultimate plan for your life. Proverbs 3:5-6 reassures you beautifully, saying, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths." Stepping forward into uncertainty can feel intimidating, even overwhelming. Yet courage is not the absence of fear. It's choosing faith in the presence of doubt, confidence in the midst of uncertainty. Every step forward, taken courageously, moves you closer to a destiny greater than you've imagined. Like Abraham, your willingness to step forward in faith is precisely what positions you for miracles, breakthroughs, and divine revelations. So embrace the unknown not with fear, but with anticipation. Remember, it's not your perfection that God seeks. It's your courage, your trust, your bold obedience. Take that first step today, knowing you are guided, protected, and prepared to walk boldly into your divine purpose. Right now, you may sense something profound stirring within you, an urgency that is neither anxiety nor impatience, but rather divine momentum moving you forward. This isn't just restlessness. It's heaven's way of accelerating your journey, aligning your life swiftly and perfectly the moment you fully embrace your calling. The assignment placed upon your life is significant, more powerful than you've realized, not only for your own transformation, but also for the countless lives your obedience will touch and inspire. Your purpose is much larger than personal growth alone. It's a divine ripple effect intended to change the world around you. Every step you take forward in faith ignites a chain reaction, impacting others in ways you may never fully comprehend. As you courageously say yes to your calling, barriers fall, doors previously locked swing wide open, and clarity emerges in areas previously clouded by uncertainty. The divine momentum you feel is not rushing or pushing. Rather, it is guiding, empowering, and confirming that now is your time. Like a powerful current beneath the surface, God's grace is gently yet unmistakably propelling you toward your destiny. Trust this divine alignment. Trust that your journey is divinely protected, perfectly orchestrated, and infinitely purposeful. You're stepping into a higher existence, not merely for personal fulfillment, but to become a source of hope, inspiration, and healing for others. Embrace this sacred shift confidently, knowing you were chosen precisely for this extraordinary moment. Today, you're standing at a sacred crossroads. The waiting season has ended. Your divine encounter is imminent. You've been refined through trials, shaped through challenges, prepared meticulously for this moment. Now, will you step forward? Let's subscribe, share, and sow into this mission. Because you are not just a breadwinner. You are a history maker. Declare boldly, "I am ready," embracing the sacred calling placed uniquely on your life. Type 777 in the comments as your powerful declaration of faith, a symbolic act affirming your readiness to step into your divine destiny. The world is waiting for the unique light you carry. Heaven itself is leaning in, cheering you on, celebrating your brave step into the extraordinary destiny prepared for you. This is not just another message. It is a divine appointment. If you have clicked on this video, it is not by accident. You were led here for a reason. Something deep within you has been stirring, a call, a whisper, a pull towards something greater. Perhaps you can't explain it, but you feel it. A longing, a knowing, an urgency that won't go away. The world around you moves forward as if nothing is happening, as if everything is just the way it's always been. But you know better. You see what others ignore. You sense what most dismiss. You have always been different. Maybe you've spent years searching for answers, feeling out of place, unable to shake the feeling that there is more. More to this life, more to your purpose, more than what you've been told. Or maybe deep inside, you've always known that you were meant for something bigger. This message is for the chosen ones. And if you are one of them, you will feel it. But let me be clear, it is not for everyone. Most will scroll past. Some will dismiss these words without a second thought. Many will feel the pull but will be too afraid to answer. But not you, because something inside you won't let you turn away. If your heart is beating a little faster, if your spirit is stirring, if something within you is whispering, "This is for me," then stay. Because you were meant to hear this. It is an awakening message, a reminder of who you really are. The world has tried to silence you, to make you doubt yourself, to convince you that you are just like everyone else. But the truth is, you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to rise, to awaken, to walk in the fullness of your calling. Now, the time has come. This is your confirmation. You are not here by mistake. You are here because God is calling you, and what you're about to hear will change everything. Chapter 1. The Invisible War. We are at war. Not the kind that can be seen with human eyes, not a battle fought with guns and armies, but a war far older, far greater, and far more dangerous. This is a spiritual war, a battle waged in the unseen realm, where forces of darkness seek to control, deceive, and destroy. Most people don't realize it's happening. They move through life unaware, distracted by the noise of the world, convinced that their struggles are purely physical, bad luck, misfortune, coincidence. But you see more. You feel it. You have sensed the weight pressing down on your soul, the constant battles in your mind, the fear, the doubt, the exhaustion that seems to drain you even when you're standing still. This is not just life. This is war. And whether you realize it or not, you are already on the battlefield. The enemy does not want you to know this. He wants you blind, distracted, preoccupied with the temporary things of this world. Because the moment you wake up to the reality of this war, you become a threat. Ephesians 6:12 tells us, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." This war is not against people. It is against forces of darkness, ancient entities that have worked behind the scenes for centuries, manipulating systems, controlling minds, spreading lies. They operate through fear, through deception, through carefully crafted illusions designed to keep you powerless. But the moment you recognize the battle, everything changes. You begin to see the enemy's tactics for what they are. The anxiety that tries to paralyze you, it is an attack. The depression that whispers lies into your mind, telling you that you are not enough, it is a strategy. The constant cycle of fear, failure, and doubt that seems impossible to escape, it is not random. The good news? You were never meant to fight this battle alone. God has not left you defenseless. He has given you weapons. He has given you armor. He has given you the authority to stand against the darkness and win. You were not created to live in fear. You were created to overcome. And today, right now, you take your first step onto the battlefield, not as a victim, not as someone barely surviving, but as a warrior. The war is real, but so is your victory. Chapter 2. The lies that have kept you bound for too long. You have been living under the weight of lies. Lies that have shaped your thoughts, controlled your actions, and kept you from stepping into the fullness of who you were created to be. You may not have even realized it, but a war has been waged against your mind, and the enemy's greatest weapon has never been chains or prisons. It has always been deception. From the moment you were born, the enemy has whispered lies into your soul, working tirelessly to keep you bound. He has told you that you are not enough, that you are too broken, too weak, too flawed to ever be used by God. He has convinced you that your past disqualifies you, that your mistakes define you, that you will never be truly free. Over time, you started to believe it. You looked at your reflection and saw only failure. You carried shame like a weight on your back, believing it was your burden to bear. You accepted fear as part of your identity, thinking you would never escape its grip. But none of that was ever true. The enemy doesn't attack what isn't valuable. The fact that he has worked so hard to keep you bound is proof of how powerful you truly are. If you weren't a threat, he wouldn't need to silence you. If you weren't called for something greater, he wouldn't work so hard to make you doubt yourself. But now, the lies are being exposed. The Word of God tells us in John 8:44 that the devil is a liar and the father of lies. Everything he has ever spoken over you was meant to keep you from the truth. Here is the truth. You are not weak. You have been given strength beyond what you can imagine. Isaiah 40:31 says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." You are not alone. God has never abandoned you, even in your darkest moments. Deuteronomy 31:8 promises, "The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." You are not a failure. Your past does not define you. 2 Corinthians 5:17 declares, "If anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone. The new is here." For too long, the enemy has tried to rewrite your identity. But today, that ends. Today, you take back what has been stolen. You break free from the lies. When fear tells you that you are not enough, remind yourself who your God is. When shame tries to keep you silent, declare that you are forgiven, redeemed, and set free. When doubt creeps in, hold on to the unshakable truth that you were created for more. Because the lies may have kept you bound for a season, but the truth will set you free forever. Chapter 3. Equipped for battle. You were never meant to live in fear. You were never meant to be powerless. From the moment you were called, you were equipped for battle. The enemy has spent years trying to convince you that you are weak, that you are defenseless against the attacks that come against your mind, your heart, your life. He wants you to believe that you are alone in this fight, that you have no weapons, that you must simply endure the struggles and hope they pass. But that is another lie. Because the truth is this: God has given you armor. He has provided everything you need to stand firm against the forces of darkness and win. Ephesians 6:10-11 declares, "Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes." You are not stepping into this battle unarmed. You are stepping in fully equipped. Number 1. The belt of truth, the foundation of your strength. The first piece of armor is truth. The enemy is a deceiver, and his primary weapon is lies. If he can distort your perception of reality, if he can make you believe falsehoods about yourself, about your purpose, about God, then he can weaken you before the battle even begins. When you wear the belt of truth, you stand firm. God's word becomes your foundation. You recognize the lies for what they are, and you refuse to let them take root in your heart. John 8:32 says, You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Truth exposes deception. It brings clarity where there was confusion. It allows you to stand unshaken, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. Number 2, the breastplate of righteousness, your divine protection. A soldier's breastplate protects the heart, the most vital organ. In the spiritual realm, your heart is the center of your emotions, your faith, your desires. The enemy knows that if he can corrupt your heart, filling it with fear, shame, or guilt, he can weaken your spirit. But God has given you righteousness as your defense. Not your own righteousness, but the righteousness of Christ. When you accept this, you no longer have to live in shame. You are covered, protected, secured in God's love. 2 Corinthians 5:21 declares, God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. When anxiety whispers that you are not enough, when guilt tries to weigh you down, remember, you are already covered. Number 3, the shield of faith, your defense against attacks. Faith is not just a belief, it is a weapon. It is your shield, your defense against every fiery dart the enemy sends your way. Ephesians 6:16 tells us, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. The arrows may come in the form of doubt, fear, or discouragement. The enemy will try to make you question your worth, your calling, your strength. But faith is your protection. Faith declares, God is my refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Faith reminds you, even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Every time you choose faith over fear, your shield grows stronger. Number 4, the sword of the Spirit, the weapon that strikes back. Up until now, every piece of armor has been for defense, but God has also given you a weapon, His Word. For the Word of God is alive and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. Hebrews 4:12. The enemy speaks lies, you counter with Scripture. The enemy tries to weaken you, you declare God's promises. When Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, He didn't argue with Satan. He spoke the word of God. It is written. And with every truth He declared, He dismantled the enemy's attack. That same power is in your hands. Chapter 4. The power of prayer. Prayer is not just a ritual. It is a weapon, a divine connection between you and the Creator of the universe, a direct line to the throne of God. It is the key that unlocks power, the force that shifts atmospheres, the weapon that brings heaven's authority into your battle. For too long, the enemy has tried to convince you that prayer is weak, that it is just words whispered into the air, that it doesn't really change anything. But that is a lie. James 5:16 declares, the prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. When you pray, things move in the spirit realm. Chains break, strongholds crumble, the forces of darkness tremble. Every whispered prayer, every desperate cry, every declaration of faith carries weight in the kingdom of God. The Bible is filled with stories of warriors who won battles not with swords, but with prayer. Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, but his prayers shut the mouths of the beasts. Elijah called down fire from heaven and defeated the prophets of Baal with a single prayer. Paul and Silas were locked in prison, but when they prayed and worshiped, the earth shook. The prison doors flew open and their chains fell off. This is the power of prayer. When you feel weak, pray. When fear grips your heart, pray. When the battle feels impossible, pray. Philippians 4:6-7 reminds us, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Prayer is not a last resort. It is your first line of defense. You are not alone in this war. Heaven fights for you, and when you pray, you are not just speaking words. You are unleashing the full power of God against the enemy. So pray boldly. Pray without fear. Pray with authority. Because when you pray, battles are won. The enemy wanted you to stay in chains. He wanted you to live in fear, to believe the lies, to walk through life doubting your worth, your strength, and your purpose. But now you know the truth. You were never meant to live defeated. You were never meant to merely survive. You were created to overcome. Romans 8:37 declares, "In all these things, we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." That means you are not just fighting for victory. You are fighting from victory. The battle has already been won. The enemy has already been defeated. And you are standing in the power of that truth. You are equipped. You are protected. You are chosen. The war is real, but so is your authority. You have the armor of God, the sword of the Spirit, and the power of prayer on your side. There is nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has already set in motion in your life. But this isn't the end of your journey. It's only the beginning. If this message has spoken to your heart, if you feel the fire stirring within you, then take a bold step right now. Comment below. I stand in victory. Let this be your declaration, your battle cry, your sign to the enemy that you are no longer bound by fear. And before you go, like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, not just as a casual click, but as an act of faith, a sign that you are stepping fully into your calling, ready to receive everything God is about to release in this season. There is more to come, more truth, more power, more breakthrough, and you don't want to miss it. So stand tall, speak boldly, walk in faith, because you are victorious, and the enemy knows it. Have you ever felt it? That deep, unshakable knowing within you, a fire that refuses to be extinguished? Since childhood, you've sensed it, though you could never quite explain it. A difference, a calling, a force within you that sets you apart from the rest. You have always known that you do not think like others, nor do you feel as they do. The places where they find comfort feel like a prison to you. Their dreams do not stir your soul. Their ambitions seem hollow, their pursuits meaningless. While they eagerly follow the paths laid before them, something in you resists. Something in you knows that you were not meant to fit in. But why? Why does the world not understand you? Why does your spirit feel misplaced in a realm that does not move as you do? The answer, chosen one, is both simple and profound. You are not 100% human. That statement may challenge everything you have been taught. It may shake the foundation of your understanding. But if you quiet the noise of the world, if you listen with your spirit instead of your mind, you will realize that this truth is not new to you. It has always been there, waiting to be unlocked. This is not a metaphor. This is not an exaggeration. This is truth. There is something within you that transcends human comprehension, something beyond the limitations of flesh and blood. Your spirit is not of this world. Your origin is not of the earth. The very essence that flows through you is mixed with something divine, something that cannot be explained by human logic. Divinity itself has touched you. You are a vessel of something far greater than what the world perceives, a mystery hidden from the eyes of the ordinary but revealed to those who have ears to hear. Yet the world has tried to convince you otherwise. It has told you that you are just like everyone else, that you must conform, that you must follow its systems, its structures, its rules. It has tried to silence the fire inside you, to make you doubt your difference, to make you question your purpose. But despite all its efforts, something in you has always resisted. Something in you refuses to conform, refuses to accept mediocrity, refuses to settle for the ordinary. That is because you were never meant to. This message is not for everyone. Many will hear these words and dismiss them. Many will remain blind to the truth, too entangled in the illusion of this world to see beyond it. But you, if you are truly chosen, will feel the weight of these words in your soul. So open your heart, open your mind. Let the fire of truth consume every lie that has been planted within you. Let it burn away every false identity the world has tried to place upon you. Let it awaken what has been dormant inside you for too long. Because today is the day you remember who you are. Today is the day you step into the fullness of your identity. Today, you rise. If you are not 100% human, then what are you? To answer this question, we must go back to the very beginning. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion." What does it mean to be made in the image of God? It means that you are more than just flesh and blood, more than just a physical body navigating a temporary world. It means that your true nature is spirit first, eternal, limitless, and connected to something far greater than human existence. This is why you feel things that others do not. This is why you see beyond what is in front of you, why your heart longs for something more, something beyond this life. You were never meant to be confined by the limitations of this world because your origin is not of the earth. Your very essence carries the imprint of the Creator Himself, a divine signature woven into the fabric of your being. This is why you have always felt different, why you have never fully belonged. The world operates on a frequency that does not resonate with you. It moves in patterns that seem unnatural, bound by limitations that you were never meant to accept. While others are satisfied with what they can see and touch, your spirit yearns for something deeper. You perceive things that others overlook, you sense truths that they dismiss, and you dream beyond the boundaries they accept as reality. You are not merely human, you are spirit wrapped in flesh, an eternal being having a temporary experience, a creation of divine intention placed in a world that was never meant to contain you. And yet the enemy works tirelessly to make you forget this truth. The world has conditioned you to believe that you are nothing more than flesh and bone, that your worth is determined by earthly measures, that you must conform to the expectations of society. It has tried to silence the voice inside you that whispers, "You were made for more." It has tried to drown out the calling that stirs within your soul. But no matter how much the world tries to bury it, the fire inside you cannot be extinguished. The truth of your identity will always rise. This is why you feel restless. This is why you cannot find fulfillment in the things that satisfy others. This is why, no matter how much you try to fit in, something always pulls you away. Because you were never meant to live an ordinary life. You were never meant to be like the rest. You were chosen, set apart, marked by heaven with a purpose greater than what the world can understand. And the moment you fully realize who you are, everything changes. You will no longer be bound by the limitations of this world. You will no longer live beneath your calling. You will no longer shrink back in fear or uncertainty. Instead, you will rise. You will walk in dominion, because you are not just human. You are divine by design. You carry the breath of God inside you, and when you awaken to this truth, the world will never see you the same way again. There are two types of people walking this earth, though they may appear the same on the outside. The first group consists of those who are of the world. Their minds, desires, and ambitions are tied to earthly systems. They live by what they can see, touch, and control, measuring their success by material gain, social validation, and temporary pleasures. Their entire existence is rooted in what is tangible, and their decisions are dictated by what the world deems acceptable, desirable, or powerful. They chase after wealth, status, and approval, believing that these things define their worth. They are bound by the limits of human understanding, confined to the cycle of birth, survival, and death, never questioning if there is more beyond what their eyes can perceive. These are the ones who belong to the world, shaped by its ways, ruled by its principles, and ultimately destined to pass away with it. Then there is the second group, those who are not of this world. These are the chosen ones, the ones whose spirits were set apart before time itself. Though they walk among the people of this earth, They are different. Their thoughts do not conform to the patterns of the world. Their desires do not align with its fleeting pleasures, and their hearts are attuned to a frequency that others cannot hear. Their existence is not defined by what is seen, but by what is eternal. They are governed by faith rather than fear, by divine truth rather than human opinion. They are called to a higher standard, a greater purpose, a destiny that extends beyond this life. Jesus himself spoke of this distinction when he said, "They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world." If you have always felt like an outsider, like a stranger in your own land, it is because your spirit was not born here. Your origin is divine, your purpose is eternal, and no matter how much the world tries to mold you into its image, you will never truly belong to it. This is why you feel resistance. This is why you face rejection. This is why you find yourself at odds with a world that does not understand you, because your essence does not come from this place. And this, chosen one, is both your greatest strength and your greatest challenge. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to follow the crowd. You were never meant to be comfortable in a world that is fading away. You were set apart, chosen by God, designed for something greater than what this world can offer. So stop trying to fit in where you do not belong. Stop seeking validation from those who cannot recognize what is inside you. You were not meant to be like them. You are meant to stand out, to lead, to walk in power, and to fulfill the divine calling that has been placed upon your life. The time has come. The world is shifting. The heavens are stirring, and those who have been asleep are beginning to wake up. For too long, the chosen ones have wandered in confusion, searching for answers, questioning their identity, and wrestling with the weight of their calling. Many have felt lost, isolated, rejected, misunderstood by the world around them. They have spent years trying to conform, trying to fit into a society that was never meant to embrace them. But now, something is happening. A divine awakening is taking place. The chosen ones are beginning to remember who they are. No more doubt, no more fear, no more hesitation. The veil is being lifted and the truth is being revealed. You are not ordinary. You were never meant to live like everyone else. You were never meant to walk the same path as the rest of the world. You were called, set apart, destined for something far greater than the limitations this world has tried to place upon you. And now, the time has come for you to rise. The enemy has worked tirelessly to keep you blind to your true identity. He has tried to drown you in fear, in distractions, in cycles of delay and confusion. He has sent people to discourage you, to make you question yourself, to weaken your spirit. He has used rejection, failure, and pain to convince you that you are forgotten, unworthy, powerless. But he was afraid of this moment, because he knew that one day you would wake up. He knew that one day you would finally understand who you are, and when that day came, nothing would be able to stop you. That day is now. Your struggles were not meant to break you. They were meant to shape you. Every battle you have faced was a training ground for the power you are about to walk in. Every rejection, every hardship, every painful experience was preparing you for the moment you step into your divine purpose. You are not weak. You are not forgotten. You are not defeated. You are a warrior in the kingdom of God, a force that the darkness has tried to silence. But it has failed, because the fire inside you cannot be extinguished. The world will not understand what is happening inside you. People will question you. They will try to pull you back into their systems, their traditions, their expectations. They will tell you to be practical, to be realistic, to settle for a life that is safe and comfortable. But you were never meant to be comfortable. You were meant to change the world. You were meant to shake the foundations of the earth with the power that has been placed inside you. You were meant to walk in authority, in wisdom, in divine favor. This is your awakening. No longer will you live in fear. No longer will you shrink back. No longer will you accept mediocrity. The kingdom is calling. The time is now. You must rise. You must walk boldly in your purpose. You must take your place. The enemy has tried to stop you, but he has failed. Nothing can hold you back now. Nothing can silence you. You are chosen. You are set apart. You are anointed for such a time as this. So rise, chosen one. Step into your destiny. The world is about to see your power, and nothing will ever be the same again. If this message has stirred something deep within you, if your spirit has resonated with these words and a fire has been ignited inside you, then do not let this moment pass. Declare it now. Speak it into existence. Type these words in the comments. I know who I am. Let this be a statement of faith, a declaration of awakening, a confirmation that you are no longer bound by the limitations the world has tried to place upon you. You are not lost. You are not ordinary. You are chosen, set apart, and destined for something greater. This is your moment to step into the truth of who you were always meant to be. I want to take a moment to thank you for being here, for opening your heart to this message, and for walking this journey of spiritual awakening. Your presence is not an accident. You were led here for a reason. You are part of a movement, a divine calling that is gathering the chosen ones, awakening them to their true identity. And your engagement, whether through a comment, a like, or sharing this message, is helping spread this truth to others who are still searching. To those who have already subscribed, your support is invaluable. You are not just following a channel. You are joining a community of awakened souls who refuse to live in darkness, who choose truth over deception, purpose over confusion. If you have not yet subscribed, I invite you to do so now. Click that button, turn on notifications, and stand with us as we continue to awaken and empower those who are ready to walk in their divine calling. Every action you take, every comment, every share, every like, is not just a gesture. It is a ripple effect that reaches people who need this message. And for that, I am truly grateful. This is just the beginning of your journey. Walk boldly, stand firm, and never forget, you are not of this world. You are chosen. Now let the world hear you. Declare it in the comments. I know who I am. Let this be your moment of power, your statement of faith, and your first step into the life you were always meant to live. Chosen ones, hear me. What I am about to share with you is not just another message. This is a divine revelation, a word you cannot afford to ignore. If you are here right now, it is not by coincidence. God Himself has led you to this moment because He knows this message is meant for you. Everything I am about to tell you is not my own wisdom. It is a divine instruction from the Almighty. The Word of God is alive, sharper than any two-edged sword. It carries the power to break chains, open doors, and lead you into your destiny. So listen closely. What you are about to hear has the power to transform your life forever. The Word of God is not just ink on paper. It breathes, it moves, it transforms. It is the same Word that spoke light into the darkness at the beginning of time. The same Word that healed the sick, raised the dead, and calmed the raging storms. And today, that same Word is coming to you, to breathe life into every dry place in your soul, to shatter every chain that has held you back, and to realign you with the purpose God set for you before the foundation of the world. So do not harden your heart. Do not let distractions steal this moment. Because when God speaks, mountains bow, demons tremble, and the heavens open. Right now, in this very moment, He is speaking directly to you. Will you listen? Will you receive it? I urge you, silence every distraction and open your heart. Receive this word with expectation, because when God speaks, everything changes. And today, change is coming to you. Have you ever found yourself asking, why is my life so difficult? Why does it feel like every burden is placed on my shoulders? Why am I constantly fighting battles that others seem to avoid? You look around and see people living with ease, seemingly untouched by the storms that rage around you. While others walk freely, you are carrying a weight so heavy that at times it feels unbearable. You struggle, You sacrifice, and you pour into others, yet you often feel unappreciated and unseen. You wonder why it always has to be you, the one who figures things out, the one who stands in the gap, the one who bears the weight of responsibility while others seem to drift through life without a care. Let me tell you why. Because you were chosen. You were never meant to walk an ordinary path. You were never meant to have an easy life. God has set you apart for something greater, and that greatness comes with a price. You are not just here to survive. You are here to build, to sustain, to multiply, and to establish something that will outlast you. That is why your battles are greater. That is why your storms are more intense. That is why the enemy has fought so hard to break you, because he knows the calling on your life is too powerful to be ignored. The struggles you face are not random. They are a necessary preparation. God is not punishing you. He is building you. Look at the foundation of a house. If the walls crack, they can be repaired. If the roof leaks, it can be fixed. But if the foundation is weak, the entire house will collapse. That is why your journey has been different, because you are a foundation. A family, a community, even a nation cannot stand without strong foundations, and you are one of those pillars. That is why you have endured rejection, isolation, and betrayal. That is why you have fought battles in silence while others remained oblivious. Because God is making you strong. Weak people cannot carry great responsibilities. Shallow people cannot uphold generations. Easily shaken people cannot be trusted with divine assignments. And so God has allowed you to be tested, refined, and molded into someone unshakable. When you look at the lives of those called by God, you will see the same pattern. Joseph was betrayed and thrown into a pit before he reached the palace. Moses was rejected and forced into the wilderness before he led Israel to freedom. David was hunted like a fugitive before he took his rightful place on the throne. Even Jesus himself, the Son of God, was despised, rejected, and abandoned in his darkest hour. Their struggles were not punishments, they were preparations. And your struggles are no different. The weight is heavy because the assignment is great. You are not just anyone. You are called. You are chosen. And if God has entrusted you with this burden, He has also given you the strength to carry it. Do not despise your battles. They are shaping you into the leader, the protector, the foundation that God designed you to be. Your hardship is not the end of your story. It is the preparation for something greater than you can imagine. When we think of a breadwinner, the world often defines it as someone who provides financially for their family. But in God's eyes, a true breadwinner is much more than just a provider of money and material needs. They are sustainers, multipliers, and preservers of destinies. They do not merely survive. They build, prepare, and ensure that what is entrusted to them is not only maintained but multiplied for future generations. One of the greatest biblical examples of a true breadwinner is Joseph. His story is not just about survival. It is about divine strategy, wisdom, and stewardship that saved not only a nation, but also the generations that followed. Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. Yet through all of this, God was shaping him, preparing him for the moment when he would rise to become a leader who would sustain millions. During the years of abundance in Egypt, Joseph did not waste what he had. He stored it, managed it wisely, and prepared for the famine that was to come. Tells us that when the famine struck, while other lands suffered in lack, Egypt had food because of Joseph's foresight and divine wisdom. He did not just think about the present, he thought generationally. He did not just provide for his family, he positioned himself to sustain entire nations. This is what separates a mere provider from a true breadwinner. A provider gives what is needed for today. A breadwinner builds so that others will not lack tomorrow. Joseph's journey teaches us 3 critical lessons about what it means to be a true breadwinner. First, preparation is key. Breadwinners do not live just for the moment. They prepare for the future. Joseph did not wait until the famine came to act. He made strategic decisions long before the crisis arrived. Second, breadwinners know how to manage resources wisely. They are not wasteful, nor are they reckless. They recognize that what they have is not just for them, but for those they are called to sustain. Third, true breadwinners multiply. Joseph did not merely ensure survival. He used wisdom and divine strategy to turn a crisis into an opportunity for abundance. His leadership did not just feed people for a season, it preserved generations. This is your calling. You are not meant to live in survival mode, constantly struggling just to get by. You are meant to thrive, multiply, and build a legacy that will impact those who come after you. Like Joseph, God has placed in you the ability to create, sustain, and expand. But with that ability comes a responsibility to steward it wisely, to manage it with diligence, and to trust that God will provide the strength and wisdom needed to fulfill your assignment. What will you do with what God has given you? Will you merely survive, or will you rise as a true breadwinner, a foundation upon which generations can stand? The choice is yours. There are moments in life when the burdens we carry feel too heavy to bear. The pressures of responsibility, the weight of expectations, and the struggles that seem unending can leave us feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. In these moments, it's easy to wonder if we have the strength to continue. We question whether we're capable of handling everything that life throws our way. The nights feel longer, the days feel harder, and the hope that once burned brightly seems to flicker. But even in the heaviest moments, we are not alone. Throughout the Bible, we see countless examples of people who carried immense burdens. Moses, tasked with leading an entire nation through the wilderness. David, pursued by enemies while clinging to God's promises. Paul, imprisoned and beaten, yet steadfast in his faith. Yet in every struggle, God provided strength. He reminded them that they were never meant to carry their burdens alone. Jesus himself extended an invitation to the weary, saying, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." This promise is not just for those in the past, it is for us today. When the weight feels unbearable, we must remember that we were never designed to carry it by ourselves. God invites us to lay our worries at his feet, to trust that he is strong enough to sustain us. This does not mean our struggles will instantly disappear, but it does mean we are held by a God who walks with us through every storm. Instead of relying on our own strength, we can lean on his. Instead of being crushed by our burdens, we can surrender them to the one who has already overcome the world. So if you find yourself weary, take heart. You are not alone, and you are not forgotten. The same God who strengthened Moses, guided David, and upheld Paul is holding you too. Lay your burdens before him and allow his peace to fill the places where fear and exhaustion once lived. The weight may be heavy, but his grace is always greater. Carrying the weight of your calling can feel overwhelming, but it is not meant to break you. It is meant to shape you. One of the first steps to walking in your calling without crumbling under its weight is to stop seeing yourself as a victim. Challenges will come, but they are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to refine you. Instead of asking, "Why me?" Зрение. Сдвиньте перспективу и спросите, «Господь, как я должен распоряжаться этим хорошо?» Every difficulty is an opportunity for growth, and every hardship is shaping you into the person God has called you to be. Another key to sustaining your calling is understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Even Jesus, who carried the greatest mission of all, regularly withdrew to pray.